All right, welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Wednesday to you. Today is January, 15th? Holy cow. Great to be here with you. Let's get our heads right as best we can this morning. I've already had to send an apology text to my wife because I was just a bit frustrated this morning. And, I'm learning how to apologize better. I'm not great at it. And it's weird. Neither of my kids know how to apologize at all because it's not something I think I or my wife are comfortable with doing. We both like to be right. So saying I'm sorry is a big step. So I just texted her, I love you, I'm sorry, that I'm just frustrated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think people understand the desire to want to be right,
yes,
and the difficulty at acknowledging perhaps you were not right.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, let's just meet in the middle and realize we're both frustrated, but I didn't yell or like pitch a fit or anything, but I wasn't at my best this morning. So
Do you ever acknowledge you were wrong while still thinking you were right, though, and just let it go?
Ooh,
can you do that?
Do you have to actually? That's a brilliant question.
In your mind, do you have to feel like, you know what, I was wrong. Now that I think about it, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Or sometimes do you think, I know I was right, but I'm going to apologize anyway.
No.
Say I was wrong.
No,
and just let peace filter into my life and harmony.
It's a good question, and now that I really think it over, I don't think I ever apologize if I think I am right. Just to quell the, emotion. I don't think I've ever done that, maybe once. I don't think I've ever thought I was right and said, you know what, I'm sorry. Now, what I have done, even thinking I was right, is I will say, hey, I didn't handle that the best. I raised my voice. I kicked a chair or something, slammed a door. I didn't handle it the right way, but I still think I'm right. That I will apologize for my actions. I won't apologize for what I believe. You know what I mean? Something tells me that you apologize a lot.
Not that often.
Just to keep the peace.
I do enjoy my peace.
You do.
I don't really see the benefit in endlessly arguing something. If you feel like I'm never going to convince the other person of my viewpoint, maybe the best way is to just acknowledge, maybe I was wrong. I'm sorry. And just, even though I didn't totally believe it,
I'm somewhere in between both of you. Because I won't say maybe I am wrong necessarily.
Yeah.
But I will acknowledge that I won't change your mind.
That's a good one.
And I'll just
listen. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change your mind on this. Okay, I have my way. You have yours. And I'm sorry. I love you. So I texted her. Let's see if she texted back.
What'd you say? I love you and I'm sorry.
I said, F word. I'm sorry. I'm frustrated. I love you.
I think look, I barely saw my wife this morning as I was getting out of the house. We could every guy listening right now could probably text their significant other and just say, F word. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't do anything, you probably did something at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably just a good move to do.
It's an interesting place to start today. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer, imaging director of the radio station as well. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. The apology has always been difficult for me. It always has been, and it's really difficult for my kids. I mean, Bo can hit Taylor over the head with a hammer and fracture his skull, and he will not say, oh, my bad, buddy, I'm sorry. Both of them. Taylor does this. Taylor, apologize. Sorry. That's his apology. Sorry. Just like that.
Sounds a little forced and reluctant.
Yeah. Sorry. And Bo's like, sorry. And then that's it. And my wife is a big believer in the I'm sorry, even if it's not meant. Even if you don't mean it, she wants the sorry.
You do it well, though, because you'll do that, like the revelatory moment. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes.
Like you just realized something before you said it. That's really key to the apology.
It is.
You have to show that moment of revelation, like the light bulb goes off in your head, and then you go, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry.
I blew that.
You know what? I do realize what I did wrong. You have to show that moment. That you're just saying I'm sorry doesn't do anything. You have to show that you realized you were wrong in the moment.
Well, I think an apology may be in order in this room as well.
Did I do
while I'm
something
on
again? What did I do?
While I'm on,
I was really good when Dave Rickards was in studio yesterday.
You were great.
I paid attention the whole
You
time.
did. You were dialed in, man.
How could you not pay attention?
I really tried to be alert and engaged for the whole hour.
You were fantastic. Dave was fantastic.
Today, now I'll be checked out again.
Yeah. I'm fully aware. Until it's time to talk Aztecs basketball,
Right.
yes, I totally get it. But Dave Rickards was in yesterday. He was fantastic. But I'm wondering if an apology is in order. It's going to be up to you, though, Ben, because you might be the person that I need to apologize to. But I haven't done anything yet. I just wanted to dip my toe in these
about doing something that you're going to need to apologize
I'm
for?
thinking about doing something has been presented to me.
You got a problem.
I do have a problem.
You got a problem.
I do have a problem. Okay? Something has been presented to me, and I'm into it. But I don't know how Ben is going to take it. Got a text message yesterday from our producer, Paulie. Paulie was left in the dark a little bit. It was just somebody asking Paulie for my number. And that somebody is our buddy, Jake Garignani, who works across the street at Channel 8. And he's the sports guy there. He's like you.
Love Jake.
At Channel 10. Love Jake. Great guy. Handsome. The whole thing. So I texted him. I said, hey, it's Woodsy here. What's going on? And Jake writes me back this.
Oh, boy.
My wife still has not responded, by the way. So I guess I'm in the doghouse. Says, what's up? Sorry, was working on a project there. Hey. So one of our sports anchors is out this week on vacation. We usually record a 15 to 20-minute sports show for CBS8.com and CBS 8 Plus on all our streaming platforms. With the open spot, we thought it would be fun to have you in to talk Padres and college football, being a Notre Dame fan and all. Kind of just shoot the S for a bit. We record Thursday around 2:15 or so that's tomorrow. No pressure at all. If you think it would be fun being on with us, it's great. If you feel like it's just more work or you don't want to do the TV or you're busy, no sweat at all, just let me know. So I said, could I do it on Zoom? He said, well, we've been doing it in person. I can have you out of there by 3. And I said, all right, I got an appointment in Oceanside at 4. I can probably do it. But the thing is I felt the need to run it by Ben first.
Okay, well, I like Jake too. I really do. And I see the value in promoting our show. I honestly do. The only thing I'm confused about is I know you, and whenever I ask, it's too far away. You don't want to get back in the car. You don't want to drive down and do it. But a Thursday at 2:15, no problem. No problem coming back down to the TV station for Jake. But last time I invited you and Paulie in, only Paulie showed up to do TV with me.
All right.
6 years ago, by the way.
So
I just stopped asking.
6 years, by the way.
Quit asking.
He would ask when we were at
I'm not going to. So quit asking.
I did.
You did.
I got it. I'm not going to. So quit asking so many times. I just quit asking you.
So he used to ask me like every week, hey, I'm in a bit of a pinch. Bo was a baby. And it was like, Sunday, can you be down here by like 7:30? I'm like, no, I'm not driving to Channel 10, which is 70 miles from my house. Now, this is here. It's right across the street from here. It's close. I've got marriage counseling, which I obviously need, at noon. That goes to 1. Grab a little lunch, come down, record the thing, and then go up to my appointment in Oceanside at 4. I mean, I'm going to be a busy beaver, but I don't know how to feel.
You realize, right, that Jake is just using you here. He doesn't want to talk Notre Dame either. That was the carrot he dangled in front of you.
It worked. It works because Ben won't even let me talk Notre Dame. He thinks they're going to get bodied by 30. He thinks they don't belong.
They're not carrying the game. That's not a big topic for them, Notre Dame football. It's San Diego. He dangled a carrot in front of you. He's looking
I bit.
He's looking to, capitalizing a little Woods cachet for his, streaming program. Did he say streaming, right?
He did say streaming.
Streaming?
Yeah.
CBS Plus. So not even
CBS, he said CBS.com, CBS8.com, and CBS Plus.
So not actually even on television, just on the internet. You're going to go all the way down for an internet program.
Here we go.
So you basically got asked on a podcast by Jake.
Yeah.
A video podcast. It's fine. I feel bad that he has to do that, actually. I have 15-minute shows as well, but they put them on TV, fortunately. I just feel like...
So he's cutting me and he's cutting Jake, Paulie. Do you see what he's doing here?
He's an assassin.
He is a vicious, cold assassin. So I really wrestled with this because originally what I thought I might do is just go do it, but I didn't want you to be surprised. We do have a great relationship, and it's built on trust. And if it popped up on Friday, like, here's Woodsy from Ben and Woods, I think you would have lost your mind.
I'll tell you what I think you should do.
All right.
We got to take a quick time out.
I'm nervous.
We'll come back. We'll finish the conversation. We'll set the menu for the program today.
You got a problem.
I've got a problem. I've got a problem. I've got a problem.
First, Woodsy, it's important, if you haven't done so yet, we're both in our 40s, and we put it off for so long.
We're in our late 40s.
Yes, very late 40s, actually. The 50 is...
The latest that you can go in your 40s, yes.
Is both coming for us this year, and neither of us had got our, affairs in order, quote, unquote.
Correct.
And laid out a plan. What happens if something should happen to us? Didn't want to sit down with a lawyer, didn't want to pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for something I didn't want to think about, but then we found out about trustandwill.com and how easy it is to set up a plan for your estate, a trust, or a will that takes care of your family, that protects your kids, your significant other, if something should happen to you.
Almost 60% of families experience conflict when they are dividing assets after someone dies without a clear will or trust. Don't be part of that statistic. Also, the other statistic that blew my mind, 67% of Americans don't have an estate plan. Again, don't be part of that statistic either. Plan for the unexpected. Any of us could go at any minute, So want to make sure, go to trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego when you check out. One word, San Diego. Trustandwill.com. They're going to give you 10% off, and they're going to give you free shipping at trustandwill.com. Code San Diego when you check out. Check them out for yourself.
Process is super easy.
Super easy.
All right, we'll come back, get our first check of traffic with Kelly Danick. I know the music is random. Somehow Good Vibrations didn't really fit the Trust and Will conversation, but
more like backstabbing vibrations, I think.
We'll be right back with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I'm surprised. Tier 1's thinking that I'm losing my mind and so mad at Woods here. Does that sound like me?
No.
Does that sound like me? In fact, as I was thinking about it, while maybe I'm a tiny bit hurt that you seem so eager to go in and help out Jake
I don't want to hurt you.
with his streaming project.
Oh, no.
Oh,
So
my
cutting.
God.
Ultimately, it's always good to be
His
streaming project.
It's good to be a good media citizen in San Diego. And Jake is a good guy.
He is.
He's been on our show before. I like Jake. Go in, have a good time, enjoy yourself.
Oh, I don't feel right about this.
Enjoy yourself.
I feel like he's not being
with Jake.
truthful.
No, I really am. I really am. I don't invite you anymore just because we've changed our format. I don't do in studio guests very often, so it's not that I wouldn't. I probably would still be occasionally begging you to come down, but we changed things a little bit, and I don't need weekly in studio guests for my show.
So glad, because I did not like. I have a hard time saying no.
Yes.
Number one. And number two, that drive is absolutely brutal.
And this is the other part of it. I'm also confident this is not going to turn into a weekly segment because I know you.
You know me, dude.
There's no chance. This is a one and done.
And done.
And it's always okay for a little one and done.
Okay.
You want me to come with you?
You weren't invited. You were not invited. Also, I don't know. That would be weird. Like, I brought Ben with me. He'll be in the car. I'll just leave him in the. If you want to come and sit in the car, you can.
His iPad.
He's in the car.
Crack the windows.
Yeah, crack the windows for you. Yeah, it's the media business can be a bit incestuous, and I maybe 5 years ago, you were probably more insecure. And you're like, well, I don't want you doing a podcast with them. What if you like them? That's never going to happen. I mean, this is the show. And we talked about it with Dave Rickards yesterday when he was on. We finally gotten to the point now, and like Dave says, like a jigsaw puzzle, and if one piece is missing, it ain't the same. So I think we're all pretty confident in our abilities with each other and our trust in each other as well. So thank you for allowing me, giving me the pass to go out and do that. I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk some ND football, certainly, because I feel like I don't have a platform to do it.
I was going to push back and go, but I think you are kind of right. There's when Dave came in and he was great, but he was also a very complimentary. He didn't need to be that way.
Yeah.
He said some really nice things about us and the show, you and me and Paulie.
Yep.
And to hear that from a guy like that does have you feeling fairly decent
Yeah.
when you wake up the next morning going, all right, maybe we are doing something okay.
I left on a real high yesterday, certainly, after getting a chance to talk to him for an hour and pick his brain off the air. And again, man, I can see what you meant when you said you worked with him and you were afraid to, like, grab him and talk to him. I remember sending him the text when I was up for that gig at 91X, and they had doubts about me, and they ended up hiring, somebody totally different. It was that show from Idaho, and they made it like 6 months. And I felt a little vindicated when that happened. But then I ended up meeting you guys, and the rest has been history. But when I texted him to invite him for coffee, and when he showed up, man, it was one of those seminal moments in my life where I sat down with him and I just pounded him with questions, and he answered every one, gave me some great advice. And to have him be able to come in and do an hour of radio with us, it truly was like Radio Fantasy Camp. I get Real Fantasy Camp next week, and I had Radio Fantasy Camp this week. So I thank Dave again. He is remarkable at what he does. Remarkable.
All right, here's what we've got coming up on the program today. It's now just the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Because it is January 15th, which means Major League Baseball's international bonus pool money has been reset.
As of what, midnight last night?
I would assume so. I was Googling last night, like what time technically is this going to happen? I could not find an answer. A lot of Major League Baseball things happen at 5 Eastern, so it might not be until 2 this afternoon. Might have been at midnight, might be at 6 this morning. I really don't know the actual time. And I don't expect, based on what his agent has said, Roki Sasaki, to decide immediately this morning. But he could. He could. And we're now all in that when does the alert come moment. It is a bit of an uncomfortable feeling after we have emotionally invested in this pursuit over the last, at least 6 weeks if you just got new to the party. If you've been following it, like Peter Seidler was and AJ Preller, years of work, of pursuit, and it all comes down to sometime in the next week. We will talk about Roki Sasaki's latest moves, the ones that had Woods back to the pessimism train yesterday, coming up in our next segment. We will talk about the San Diego State basketball game last night. A solid performance. Miles Bird was outstanding.
Guess that ankle's feeling okay.
Against Colorado State. Career highs in points and steals. Had a terrific game as the Aztecs bounce back again. They do what they always do.
They are the bounce-backiest team,
They
man.
are.
It's almost guaranteed money.
And that's Dutch. That's Dutch. That's his coaching style. 75-60 last night. We'll talk about it in our 7 o'clock
They
hour.
do not lose 2 in a row.
They just don't.
I got the stats for you. It's
I can't wait to hear them.
It's pretty crazy how consistent they are in not losing 2 in a row. Don't do this at 7:20. We got a pretty cool guest. I know we don't do a ton of guests, but this one made so much sense. And Paulie had his number. We had him on in the past. We thought we should really give him a try this week.
Well, it's a double whammy for him this week, which is why he's perfect.
Coming up after Take on Woods at 8:20, we will be joined by Notre Dame.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Washington football Commanders legend Joe Theismann,
Yes.
the quarterback, is going to be with us, so we can talk about both the college football championship game, Notre Dame getting to play Ohio State, and
you know what,
the Commanders coming off their first playoff win in about 15 years.
Paulie, get me his
20 years.
I'm going to text him and see if we can bang it on this show, and just me, Joe, and Jake talk it on his streaming project. That's probably a better platform since I'm allowed now to talk.
Don't take Joe away from me.
Notre Dame football. How mad would you
I'd
be?
be mad about that. Don't take Joe away from me. I'm looking forward to talking to Joe. It's been a while. Joe Theismann is going to be with us coming up at 8:35 this morning. 9 o'clock hour includes our Roundel Report, final headlines of the day, and then Annie and Elston, and we are definitely in Roki watch.
Yeah,
again, I don't think it's happening this morning, but I can't tell you it's not happening this morning.
I don't know why it wouldn't. I really don't know why it wouldn't.
I'm with you.
It absolutely could. Beware of fake accounts and things like that. I mean, it's just, this is a dicey time, so we'll all be alert and aware. But I did want to take a second to tell you guys about Underdog. I've really loved playing Underdog. Had a great time playing and picking fantasy. You guys know how this stuff works, man. If you're a California sports fan, Underdog is now finally available to play here in our state. The best place to cash in on all of your hot takes. You hear it all the time. Man, I know how to pick them. I know how to handicap things. Listen, this is your chance to do it. Which players are going to go off? Which ones are ice cold? You got a ton of football games coming up this weekend. You got basketball going on right now. They got over 5 million happy players and 2 billion won. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all of your favorite athletes' performances. The only pick 'em platform puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now, you can keep riding with the entry that you have or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you like. I have had, like I said, a blast. Won a robust $17 over the weekend, which is better than losing $17, that's for sure. Underdog, the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app. Sign up with the promo code WOODS. Deposit now. You'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. We can share our underdogs with each other. It's a lot of fun. So, again, Underdog is the app. Promo code is WOODS. Must be 18 and over, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. we were just arguing behind the scenes. Ben and is very mad that I'm cheating on him with other sports.
Not that
anchors.
bad. Not that bad. You know what I'm actually more worried about?
Yeah.
I'm worried about your mental health.
Why?
Well,
I am too, but why? Why are you worried about it?
you're not handling the Roki Sasaki sweepstakes, I think, very well.
What are you talking about? I'm handling it just like I always handle it.
Is that a problem, though? I saw yesterday you were once again, dooming online.
I just retweeted something and said, very cool. That's all I said.
There's been a lot of talk about preparing yourself for disappointment.
Yeah, I did another one that said, this will soften the blow.
Yes, exactly. And I get it.
And another one that said, they're not letting him out of the building.
You did have another one.
Yeah, that's 3.
Because yesterday.
That's 3 in a day. All right, I can see your concern.
Well, and this is what I wanted to point out. We do a little therapy here. We knew that Roki was either going to or had already met with the Dodgers in the building. That was not a surprise. He met with the Blue Jays. He met with the Padres. He was or was going to meet with the Dodgers. Those were his 3 finalists. I believed all the reports from Jeff Passan and others. So
correct.
Nothing changed yesterday.
Yes, it did.
With the news that Roki Sasaki was meeting with the Dodgers.
Yes, it did. In fact, I'm going to throw you under the bus here. You said yesterday, you intimated, at least off the air, that the Padres were the last meeting, that he'd already met with the Dodgers and he was going to be staying here. Once I found out that he was en route to L.A., and they get the last dibs. They get the last dibs on him. That is what put me...
I mentioned a comment that someone had said that. I never 100% thought that was true. It made more sense because his agent's base has been in L.A. this whole time. That
he's always been in L.A.
You're going to go around the horn to wherever you're going to look, and then you're going to end up back in L.A. and probably meet with the Dodgers at the end. I don't think this is a sign or, any indication of his decision one way or another.
Well, listen.
The biggest concern, and it has always been the biggest concern, is that the Dodgers offer a very compelling case as to why he should join the Dodgers.
Sure.
And that's always been true. But the arguments for not joining the Dodgers, the ones that his agent himself said about not wanting to necessarily be in the biggest of media markets and kind of wanting to blaze his own trail in Major League Baseball, those again favor the San Diego Padres.
Sure.
I don't know what's going to tip the scale for Roki Sasaki, but in my mind, I have heard nothing that has really changed my overall impression of where he is right now.
I did not know he was going to finish the process in L.A. with the Dodgers and all of their top stars. I did not know that yesterday, and I don't think anybody did. So when I saw that...
But I know you.
Yeah.
And there's one thing that I know that you believe strongly. And we know that he was hanging out with Padres stars over the weekend. Saw a picture of it. I know that you believe, maybe a little too strongly, that Padres stars are a lot cooler and more fun than Dodgers stars.
There's no question.
And if that's the last impression he's getting over the last few days, which group of people do I want to know I'm going to be hanging out with for the next few years? Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado but he knows who these guys are.
Sure.
Or Freddie Freeman and Max Muncy and Mookie Betts. I know you'd be confident that you think most people would choose the Padres group of players.
What spins me out a little bit is this, just the way that it works. If you want somebody and you get them last, you get the last crack at it. Now, some people say, no, I want first. I want to make a good first impression. No, I want the last presentation. I want the last. I want to read everything. I want to see everything. I want to collect as much information and data as I can. And I want to go in there and I want to close him. So here's what is the tough part. This is no longer, you're not wooing a free agent, right? It's not, hey man, they made you an offer of $40 million here. We'll go 44, right? That's not it. You can't do it. This is a matter of presentation. This is a matter of how you polish up. They are very polished, extremely polished. And in fact, I'm sure he walked in the room with a couple of Japanese superstars and a polished up World Series trophy sitting on the table. And there's more of these to get. I'm not saying that we're, the Clampetts here from the Beverly Hillbillies as we make our presentation, but They are in literally Beverly Hills, right? That is the L.A. Dodgers, the creme de la creme, and we just won the World Series. And here's a couple of your countrymen that helped us get there. And yeah, man, that makes me really nervous to get the last.
If that's what he wanted all along, though, then no one ever had a chance.
Right.
But the indications is that's not what he's wanted all along.
Exactly right. And how many times have we heard, hey, this is the most important thing to me is X. The most important thing to me is X. And then what happens? They sign with the team that gives them the most money. Right? This is not the case here.
Trying to figure out Roki Sasaki's motivations has probably been a fairly futile effort all along by all of us. And I read yesterday a piece in The Athletic. Did you guys read this by Stephen Nesbitt?
No.
About Roki Sasaki's childhood growing up in Japan. And I had heard about the tragedy of his childhood, but he documents it incredibly well.
Oh, I can't believe I missed this.
In a really long piece about the 2011, the 9.1 earthquake and tsunami that struck his small little town, like 100 miles away from Tokyo. And he was in school, and the earthquake hits. It lasts like 6 minutes. Everything's shaking. Things falling off. The floorboards are cracking, and the tsunami warning goes off. This is Japan, so this has happened before. People start getting to high ground. They go up to the second, third floor of buildings. It's not enough. The tsunami comes, and anyone who is not up in the hills or below the fourth floor is killed. 1,800 people in his village, including his mom, or his dad, and his brother, and his grandparents, and they are all killed in this tsunami. And it really, obviously, is a huge, huge part of who Roki Sasaki is and what kind of drives him and
amazing
has kind of motivated him through his life. And it's said that not just Roki, but many of the people who survived this tsunami have a very live for today outlook, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And one of the reasons it's speculated why he came over to Major League Baseball 2 years earlier before he could come as a free agent is that I'm not waiting 2 years for anything. I know what can happen in life if you wait around. I want to go and live my life and start doing what I want to do.
I love it.
So, this guy is a complicated, like all of us, person with a history. It's a great piece if you get a chance to read it again by Stephen Nesbitt in The Athletic, and talks about the town and the community and just what it was like growing up in the wake of that incredible tragedy. So
certainly a guy that you want to pull for, right, and want to see achieve those heights. I think that's a great lesson for any and all of us out there, whether you've been through a tragedy or not. Tomorrow's promised to nobody, and if you feel that there's something you need to do, go out and do it, because you only get one crack at it, man. I love that, dude. I love that. The bookies are still throwing out the odds. If you care, got an email yesterday. Bookies.com still has the Dodgers as the favorites, minus 200 to sign Roki. Padres are second at plus 200. That would translate to about a 2/3 versus 1/3 chance. So they think it's a 1-3 for the Padres. Don't know that they really know anything, just like the rest of us. And then they have Toronto as the long shot at plus 400. To sign Roki Sasaki, but that's just one person's opinion. I don't know if you can even actually place any wagers on where Roki goes, but if I could get plus 200 on the Padres, I would still take that, especially with a chance to win a little extra bonus there. If Roki, I think the chances are still decent that he picks the Padres.
That's one man's opinion on sports.
It is.
Look, when you start seeing those odds, that's not good. You don't want to see plus 200. You want to see minus 300. That's what you want to see. There was a lot of smoke yesterday. Ken Rosenthal, again, Ken doing the thing where he's like, hey, and this is just a guess. He's going to the Dodgers, So I think there's just a lot. I think there's a lot of smoke around the fact. There always has been a lot of smoke around the fact that I've said from the get-go, I think he's probably an L.A. Dodger. My father-in-law, who's a Dodger fan, was texting me this morning, he does this to me. All indications say he's going to the Padres. And I'm like, Scott, you know better. You know better. You know damn well he's going to the Dodgers, and we're all going to have to bend over and take
That's
it.
such a backhanded
It's
comment.
such a backhanded thing, and it really is. He does it to me all the time.
Hey, you guys will get a free agent someday.
Yeah, someday. Someday. It might work out for you guys. Yeah, little brother. Here we go.
Padres did sign a player yesterday, though. Not a major league contract. Minor league contract.
Played in Japan.
Kind of an interesting guy. Yeah, right-handed pitcher J.B. Wendelken, the 31-year-old, signed a minor league deal with the Padres yesterday. He put up really good numbers in Japan, 1.57 ERA over the past 2 seasons. Now,
I'll take it.
Now, he's been in Major League Baseball before, and he was, his career 4 ERA guy, essentially, with the A's and the Diamondbacks. I remember him a couple of times facing the Padres in relief.
Might have figured something out over there.
It's possible.
Yep.
I mean, this is
flyer,
an avenue that A.J. Preller has exploited to good effect.
Yes.
With players, not Roki Sasaki level players, but the guys you haven't heard of, like who had heard of Robert Suarez?
Right.
When he plucked him out of Japan, and that's worked out pretty well for the San Diego Padres.
I mean, look, Hassan Kim from Korea. There's another one that was like, ooh, who did we get? There's been a few over the years. And obviously they scour the world looking for talent, and I think he's hit on a lot of these guys, obviously. But Roki is obviously a different beast, a different animal. I don't know what the reasoning. Again, if it's money, we're not going to win that battle, right? But it's not. It's not a money thing. This is a presentation thing. I'm not saying the Padres don't have the ability to give a great presentation and close him. I just don't like the fact that he is there last, because what you do if you're Andrew Friedman and Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto and Freddie Freeman and all these guys, you don't let that guy walk out of the building until he commits. You don't. You just keep him there. You keep him there. You make sure he signs on the line, which is dotted. That's it. You don't let him leave. And you have
at least with a handshake.
You have that opportunity because you get the last word. And having the last word is massively important when you're trying to close a deal.
Speaking of trying to get that contract signed, I want to talk about something I read in the UT about what potentially could be included in the Roki Sasaki deal if he signs with the Padres. And we can get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Fire crews did a good job of dousing that brush fire southbound side of the 15 at Ocean View, so speeds are looking better there. Now an accident on the coastline, southbound 5. This is near Loma Santa Fe. It's got the HOV lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I was reading last night in the UT, Tom Krasovic wrote a piece about the potential impact of the Padres ownership, drama at the moment on Roki Sasaki. And he spoke to an agent who said, you know what, it's actually not that big of a deal. The Padres could write in the contract something to the effect of, hey, if there's a sale or if A.J. Preller is no longer the general manager and president of baseball operations, then you can opt out of your contract and become a free agent.
Shohei has that same opt-out, doesn't he?
He does. I believe he does now.
He does now. Yeah.
However, I wanted to push back on that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to anyone, in Major League Baseball or another agent. And I'm sure Tom talked to this guy. It's an anonymous source. But it didn't make a lot of sense to me, because if you could put that into a contract, and I'm Roki Sasaki's agent, knowing that he's going to be under control for 6 years, but there's a way that I can become a free agent after one. Like if A.J. Preller's not the GM, then I can opt for free agency and then sign a $500 million deal next year. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put in my contract. All right, I'll sign with San Diego, but if the average temperature in San Diego is over 40 degrees in July, then I get to opt out and become a free agent at the end of my first year. Boom. And then you can't do an end run around baseball's international signing rules and all of a sudden become a free agent at the end of the first year.
Look, even Ken Rosenthal said yesterday. Ken Rosenthal, who it takes every chance to pound the Padres when he can, said, could it make a difference in his decision, what's going on with ownership? Sure. Will it? Probably not. He doesn't care. He wants to go out and pitch. His checks are going to clear, right? Like it doesn't affect Manny. It doesn't affect anybody on that team, even one iota. It doesn't. They got to put their head down and play baseball. Period. Their checks are going to clear. They're going to be Petco Park. The lights will be on. You know what I'm saying? They're not going anywhere. So yeah, it shouldn't have anything to do with there's unrest. If I didn't take radio jobs because of unrest in upper management, I would be out of a job. Like that's the way that business works sometimes. It's not like the other teams that have been through it haven't been able to sign free agents. The Orioles have been going through this for years. There's a dozen teams that have had things like this. So if you're at Roki, you do not look at that and go, oh no, there's strife in the front office.
Yeah, I tend to agree. But if it was possible to write in one of those contracts an out,
yes,
wouldn't any team, like let's say the Cincinnati Reds, I would assume haven't really even been on Roki's radar. But if they said, yeah, we'll write a contract and you will have an out after the first year, and then you become an unrestricted free agent, well, what team wouldn't offer him that?
In a heartbeat.
I mean, the value here, or at least a lot of the value of Roki Sasaki, is that
control.
If he picks you, you get the control.
Yeah.
So, you can't upend the system by then saying, we'll give up the control. We'll sign you for the 1 year, and then you can be a free agent, and you can sign as big of a deal as you want.
I don't know
with
that
any team. I don't know
that gets approved.
I don't think that's going to be allowed. I don't think that would be approved. That would be a complete end run around baseball's amateur international signing rules.
Yeah, you're circumnavigating the entire process right here. If that's the case, just bang the whole thing and let him be a free agent. Let the Dodgers pay him $500 million.
Exactly.
Like if you're going to do that,
exactly,
just do that.
And or the Padres would say, yeah, we'd love you for 6, but if we can get you for 1, we'll take you.
Right.
We need you for 1, and then you can decide what you want to do at the end of the year. I just don't think that would be
either
allowed by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I did read that, and again, I don't doubt that someone said it, but I just didn't make a lot of sense to me that you could write into a contract, yeah, if AJ Preller's gone, you get to become a free agent at the end of the year.
I don't think I'm
imagine the job security for AJ Preller.
Oh, I know.
If that happened though.
Well, it doesn't Friedman have that same thing?
He does.
Is that what it said? If he's out, then Shohei can opt out.
Yes, I believe so. It's the greatest job security ever. The Dodgers can't touch, not that they'd want to, but can't touch Andrew Friedman because then Shohei could leave. It
says here, allows him to opt out if owner Mark Walter or president of baseball operations Andrew Friedman leave the organization.
Okay, but that was a free agent contract he signed.
Yes, that was. Yeah. Now, once you're a free agent, you can negotiate just about anything in your deal.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
What I'm also curious about what kind of perks are allowed and not allowed for Roki Sasaki. The contract is a major league minimum contract after the bonus, but if the Padres wanted to provide him, like a penthouse at the Omni, can they do that?
That's what I wanted to know.
Is that not allowed in a deal like that?
I said it yesterday. If I could get in AJ Preller's ear, I would ask him, all right, so is he on the phone today going, hey, so I talked to the guys down at the Lamborghini dealership. They said it's no problem at all. We got to get whatever color you want. Come down, pick it. Are they wheeling and dealing with Wolf right now? Are they sweetening the pot? They obviously can't sweeten the money pot, but can they sweeten the pot outside of this? I have no idea. If they are now in competition of we'll give you a suite, we'll give you 4 suites, we'll give you a room at the Omni, we'll give you a whole a floor of rooms at the Omni for you and all your friends.
My guess is you can't make that, again, end run around baseball's rules. Otherwise, teams would just be offering millions of dollars in perks because they can't offer millions of dollars in salary.
I got a Ben Woods t-shirt with his name all over it. Over it, if that helps.
The same one as you.
Yeah. Yeah, you Darvish wore one, then you can wear one as well. I got a text from a buddy yesterday. He said, hey, we should get a fan fest together for Roki Sasaki. Just pack Petco Park. I said, buddy, I think we're a little late to the party. I don't think we could get it organized and have them open the doors for us to go down and Roki. Also, you got to think, fast forward that tape. What if we got 10,000 people down there today to go down and Roki and they film it and they show him and then we lose him? How mortified are you? A, for leading the charge. B, for showing up. I said,
that's what's in.
Paulie, we'd be run out of town. We'd be run. The shame and embarrassment from it would bury me.
We've got a
You'd
fan
be doing a
fest
streaming
already.
project.
I'd be
with the
doing a
That's What's In
streaming.
guys.
Yes, I'd be doing a streaming project forever.
And if Roki does pick the Padres, we will definitely be. There'll be a lot of Roki talk. Hopefully, he'll be at FanFest on February 1st as a
Stop
member
this.
of the Padres.
You're doing this again.
not.
What's wrong with you?
Hope is a good thing, Red. Maybe the best of things.
Oh my God.
Can't believe you just went there.
Don't become institutionalized.
I am institutionalized now for bad news. I'm sorry. I wish I was more positive. If he's here, I will never doom, on him. I really believe in his abilities and all of that. But, I mean, this thing could come down today. I don't know why it wouldn't. Everyone says, it's going to be a few days. Why? Why drag this out?
Because he can.
I don't feel like he's that way. You just said he doesn't live that way. He's
about
now, take charge.
Aztecs' big win last night next to the Fan. Again, we don't know when the Roki Sasaki news is going to drop. Could be any time between now and next Thursday. But there will be signs of teams that will and will not be signing Roki Sasaki. I mean, we know the Mets reportedly are out, but today they have already signed Dominican shortstop Elian Pena for $5 million. Top bonus in the 2025 class for a Latin American prospect. So if we hadn't known the Mets were out, we would know that the Mets are out based on that signing. Because they're, if you're not saving your money for Roki Sasaki, you're not signing him. The other indication would be if one of the finalists, the Padres, the Dodgers, or the Blue Jays, started making trades today to acquire more international bonus pool money. You can't do it until today.
Wait, the trades can be made today?
You can start making trades for more money under the international bonus pool. The Padres have like $6.2 million. I think they can increase that up to, he did.
There's a cap, though, right?
You can increase it up to 60%, but if the Padres wanted to deal, 2 or 3 prospects around for, hey, where we deal him for another $400,000 in money and deal him for another $300,000 in money.
That doesn't have to be done by the deadline yesterday?
No, it can't be done until today.
It can't be done.
You can't make any of those moves until the new deadline opens. So any trades to acquire more money wouldn't be a slam dunk because teams can do that.
Dodgers already did this.
They can do today. You can't do it for this year until today.
No, but they did free up one deal that was promised to that shortstop who went to the Pirates.
And the Padres
instead.
have also released players from the deal, so that can't really judge on that. But if you see the Padres or the Dodgers today making a couple of deals to acquire more, essentially cap space for their international signing, that would be a pretty large indication that they are in the final stages of signing Sasaki. So keep that in mind.
Very cool.
All right, we will take a break from the Roki Sasaki speculation / dooming on Woods' part and talk a little college basketball. And I'll start with a minor rant. And it seemed to get a lot of traction last night. I was complaining about how late the game was for San Diego State. And believe me, I understand as well as anyone why the game was that late. Not San Diego State's choice. That was when they were assigned their start time based on national television requirements. 8 o'clock p.m., that was the slot for CBS Sports Network. The Aztecs, being the premier program in the Mountain West, tend to get those TV games rather than the streaming games. When you get the streaming game on the Mountain West Network, you can start it at 6 if you want. It's not a big deal. They can stream whenever they want. But when you get a TV window and they've got 2 other games and you're on the West Coast, you tend to get the late slot. And the Aztecs got slotted in after, I think it was Texas Tech, Kansas State. It's a miracle. Didn't go to overtime. It looked like it would for a second. Oh, my
God, it so did.
But they did not have to push back the start more than a few minutes, which was nice. But it's still a late start. And you looked around Viejas Arena, and you saw a surprising number of empty seats around the arena. And now part of it is that
I didn't
school
notice.
is still out.
I guess I'm more of a positive person than
and it wasn't a bad crowd, and they were still loud and enthusiastic. The Aztecs fans are good, but
you're right. School's not in session right now.
Yeah, but there were clearly some season ticket holders who just decided, you know what, it's too late for me to show up, and that really is a shame. And I get it. The Aztecs aren't the only one. Our friend Jordan from North Carolina says they sometimes make Duke start at 9 p.m. on the East Coast. So, the 6 o'clock game in the West Coast window. There are late games in college basketball. That's just part of the sport, and it does happen. But, on a weeknight, on a work night, you're going down there and, you're parking in the parking garage. And I get it. You can get out of there in 10, 15 minutes after the game. But depending on where you live, like for me in Encinitas, if I wanted to go to the game and stay to the end, game ended at 10:15, out of the parking garage, 10:30, 10:35. You're not home until after 11 on a work night. That's late. That's late for some people. And it's too bad that they're kind of forced into that. But it's also good that they're the team that is being asked to be on television every single time rather than, just a streaming network.
Than the 7-Eleven app. No, it's much, much better. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, as has been the the case with the Aztecs. And, you flip it on, and again, just to admit, I watched half because I fell asleep. I was dead tired. Fell asleep, woke up, saw the score this morning, handled business, covered the spread, all of the above. And looking through the stats right now, obviously Miles Bird continues to do what Miles Bird does, Benny. He is a superstar on this team and a leader on this team. And give me those numbers. I just saw him in the UT. It's
25
insane.
points, 7 steals,
Yep.
both career highs. And
all over the place.
the only player, I think he's the second player in college basketball this season with a 25-point, 7 steal, 6 rebound game. And that's what he did last night. He was 5 for 9 from three-point range. 5 3-pointers made was also a career high. Miles Bird was just, head and shoulders, to me, the best player on the court. And Colorado State has an NBA prospect in Neat Clifford, who was good, but the Aztecs held him to just 11 because they've got that good defense. It was a solid bounce-back performance by San Diego State, and that has become really the signature under Brian Dutcher. Yeah,
This is crazy.
They're going to lose games. Every college basketball program loses from time to time. It's just impossible not to. But they almost never lose 2 in a row. And now, in their last 39 games following a loss under Brian Dutcher, Aztecs are 35-4.
That's maddening. I mean, not maddening. That's like baffling how good that is.
It's a testament to I think Dutch's mental coaching skills. Like, they're really good at just letting go of the bad performances and fixing whatever went wrong and moving on to the next game and not letting one loss fester into another one.
How about this? The 37-1 in the last 38, when the next game after a loss is a home game at Viejas. 37-1. They go back to Viejas Arena. You can book it. They're going to win that basketball game. That is really remarkable from Coach Dutcher and his entire staff.
Now, is everything perfect in Aztecs land? They were better on the glass than they were against New Mexico, but far from perfect. I think it was even on the rebounding. Offensive rebounding was still a bit of an issue. They had some good bench performance, 17 points combined from Wayne McKinney and Farrell Compton. Farrell Compton, though, needs to work on his free throw skills. Went 0 for 7 from the free throw line. I don't know the last time I saw a guy go 0 for that many in any basketball game from the free throw line. It wasn't like a bunch of in and outs either. They just weren't that close. He's a freshman.
Yep.
I guarantee you Dutch is going to have him working on it again.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't an issue because the Aztecs won by 15.
But it could be.
Heck, if you're in a 2-3-point game,
Foul him.
Those 7 free throws, you can't even have him on the court really at the end of the game.
Because he will be the guy that they go after.
Nico Medved, who's the coach of Colorado State, I guarantee you when they were down 12 late, was looking like, Farrell out there, because we're going to foul him and put him on the line and likely get the ball back every single time. So that's a potential area of concern and a liability for the Aztecs.
35%, Ben, this season, not just last night. 35% of the season. That's what's acceptable and what's great.
Miles Bird was 94%, which is great. Anything above 75, I would say, is more than acceptable.
Okay, good. 35 is not good.
That's that's worse than Shaq.
Yeah,
in his career. That is a terrible, terrible free throw shooting.
Yeah, that's not good.
Now 0 for 7 is going to drag that down, obviously, and hopefully that's a bit of a one-off. But it's a bit of a concern. The Aztecs, though, are definitely hitting an easier portion of their schedule. You never want to let up, though, and it was indicated last night. The New Mexico Lobos, who looked so good on Saturday when they hosted San Diego State. I mean,
trap game.
They looked really good. They went in and lost 71-70 to San Jose State last night. I think San Jose State, who had only one conference win, definitely one of the bottom tier teams, playing in an empty gym up in San Jose, and somehow they blew that one. I mean, all the good work they did by handling the Aztecs really gets thrown out the window when you do that.
And it makes the Aztecs look worse.
It does. It actually doesn't. I mean, it gets them a little closer to second place because New Mexico suffered their first loss. But metrically, that's actually going to hurt the Aztecs as well because New Mexico's numbers are going to go down after losing to San Jose State. So it's kind of the catch-22 in the conference. You want to catch the teams, but you also don't want the teams that you lost to look that bad.
Correct.
Because it ends
Against
up hurting,
really crap teams.
It ends up hurting your resume at the end of the season. But that was just one of those classic letdown after a big game, going on the road in the Mountain West performances. So
brutal.
It's one I'm sure every coach, including Dutch, is going to be pointing to before their next game against San Jose or anyone. See what can happen. You let your guard down for just a second in this conference, and someone's going to bite you, like the Spartans did to New Mexico last night. So the next game for the Aztecs is Saturday, 5:00 start. So a very convenient start time. UNLV, a team that is not great this year, but always gives the Aztecs a tough game.
On the road or here? Okay.
Another one at home.
What day?
Saturday. So a chance to hopefully at this point build a little bit of a winning streak. I think I was looking based on like Ken Palm. I was reading in Mark Ziegler's column. They should be favored in like 14 of their last 16, or now it's probably 12 of their last 14 after winning yesterday in the conference. So now it's, don't let down, take care of business, beat the teams you should, win your home games, beat the lower tier teams on the road, and then steal one more game against a top team on the road.
Yeah.
You probably will still end up
resume.
maybe winning the conference in the end.
Yeah.
But that's, it's a long road. Now that's a 20-game conference season. There's still 14 games left. They're 4-2. Now tied with Colorado State, just a game behind New Mexico, half a game behind Boise. It's not decided by any stretch of the imagination yet. Any other thoughts? How late did you make it? Halftime? Paulie made it all the way.
Yeah, I had basketball last night. I got home like right as the game was starting. Shower, all that. It's like almost halftime, so I was able to watch the whole second
Let's say
half.
Paulie had a rooting interest to keep the score less than 132.
As did I, based on Paulie's
In the game.
recommendation. Yes.
And it came down. It was going to be close. It was one of those ones you're going to sweat.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call it a bad beat when there's 5 minutes to go and you're like, it's probably.
It's probably.
Yeah,
but then they kind of all stopped scoring, and it got to the final minute, and they were still under, and then Colorado State tied it, so you still could have gotten the push.
Yep. No harm.
And
no
all
foul.
you needed was just no. And
Colorado State hit the 2 free throws. That tied it, and then there was like 40 seconds left, so not the full shot clock. San Diego State has the ball. They're just dribbling it out, and I go, oh my god, like I'm home free.
You're at least going to get the push.
You'll see teams just dribble the ball. They'll take the turnover and hand it over, and then the other team just dribbles
probably
for
doesn't
7
do anything.
seconds.
Yeah, I thought you were good then.
Nick Boyd, was it Nick Boyd?
Boyd or BJ Davis got a bailout 3-point.
There's
like,
2 seconds left of the
pump-fake
shot clock.
Yeah.
He chucks it up. There's no chance the shot's going in, but the Colorado State guy jumped. He leans into it, gets fouled for 3 free throws.
You could have swallowed your whistle on that one. I'm just saying. If you're the ref, you can swallow your whistle on that one if you wanted to.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Rooting for unders is the worst.
There's
just
it's
nothing
not
worse.
That's as
the
safe
San Diego
a bet
State
with
sound.
San Diego
Yep.
State as you can get.
I know.
I was telling a buddy, I was like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm never mad when you take the under on an SDSU
Yeah,
game.
100%.
All right, we've got Don't Do This is coming up next.
Got an update on the Philly story, right?
Twist.
The story, yeah, a little twist, and I wonder if it changes anybody's opinion about it. I read it yesterday. I went, you got to be kidding me, man. Why am I surprised? I shouldn't be.
I don't know that bad fan behavior is ever justified, but this is going to make you at least rethink things a little bit. We'll get to that after a check of Kelly's traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a trust or will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. Well, I'll start with athletes behaving badly on flights. That's the category. Now,
that's the category.
There's always two sides to a story.
Yes.
This was a story this week from a Frontier Airlines flight, which included UFC legend Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Nailed it.
It's a tough one. The undefeated fighter was
Nurmagomedov
was removed before the plane actually left the taxiway.
Yep.
And we've seen, is he drunk? Is he fighting other passengers? What's going on? Well, according to the Frontier Airlines spokesperson, Khabib was sitting in the emergency exit row. And if you know, when you're on a plane and you're in the emergency exit row, you get an extra spiel from the flight attendants who will then ask you a simple question. Are you willing to accept the responsibilities of sitting in the emergency exit row?
Correct.
And when they asked Khabib, he didn't respond one way or another. He didn't acknowledge them, like yes or no. And they said again, sir, it's fine if you don't want to. We'll move you. We can even upgrade your seat if you'd like to sit somewhere else. Are you willing to sit here and accept the responsibilities? And again, just didn't answer, they said. So
It's a weird response.
eventually, after not getting any responses from him, they brought on like the air marshal from then escorted him off the flight and refunded his money. And Habib, for his part, says that's not how it went down, but wants to just kind of move on. And
Well, how did it go down?
I don't know. He didn't really give his. He said, "Lady who comes to me with questions is very rude from the beginning. Even though I speak very decent English and can understand everything and agreed to assist, she still insists on removing me from my seat. What was the base for that? Racial, national, or other one? I'm not sure."
They have put out, Frontier's put out a statement. It says, videos circulating on social media platforms do not capture this interaction. Instead, show a subsequent interaction after gate agent entered the plane. The decision to deplane the customer was in no way related to his ethnicity. We have refunded him and his traveling companions for their flights.
Do you like sitting in the exit row?
Very much.
Little extra leg.
Very much.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very much. Yeah. I rarely get it, but I do. If I can score an exit row, yes, of course.
Tough if you're flying Southwest,
Yep.
where it's a free-for-all.
Yep.
And then if you're flying another airline where you get to pick your seat, you'd have to pay more, but it's worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
Like $40.
You ever sat first class?
No.
Never.
No, not really.
That surprises me to no end.
Yeah.
Well, you're not.
I know. I did upgrade one, like in Alaska. I upgraded once on a fairly short flight because it was only like $50.
That surprises me as well.
Which was pretty cool.
I never
It was
fly,
like one of those last second upgrades, and it was
Yeah.
nice. It was nice.
Yeah, it's
but
nice.
It wasn't a long flight.
I never fly long enough where it's really worth it.
Sure.
Like, most of my flights are the West Coast, Seattle, San Diego. It's 2 hours, 2:15.
Yeah.
Flight to Vegas, 45 minutes.
Right.
Why spend extra? You know what I mean? It's like I can handle it. Now, if I'm flying across the country, flying internationally, yeah, I would probably. It's worth it. I'm 6'4". Like,
Yeah.
I want that leg room.
We flew for a honeymoon, went business class to London, and I fell asleep 5 minutes into the flight in business class, where you have every perk and amenity you could possibly ask for, and woke up as we were touching down at Heathrow.
Oh.
So it was a literal waste of money. I mean, I could have fallen asleep anywhere for 12 hours. But I mean, honestly, like I woke up and like, Mr. Woods.
Or did you fall asleep because it was so comfortable in first class?
No, I could have. It was, we did like the late flight, and it was honey. We had one glass of champagne, cheers, and the next thing you know, I'm waking up
I
as
feel
we're
like
touching
if I-
down. I'm like, that was a waste.
If I sprung for the first class, I'd
You're
want to
gonna
wake as
enjoy
long
it.
as possible
Yeah.
and enjoy all the
Yeah.
freebies that I could possibly enjoy. Hot towels, and
The whole thing.
drinks, and meals,
cocktails
and everything. Yeah.
steaks and all whatever
I want
else.
to be
there-
Don Draper on the plane.
Yes, 100%. I'm with you. All right, does this change anything for you guys? I told you about we all saw the viral video of the guy out of Philly calling the Packers fan in Philly a fat C word, which is terrible. Like, it's just inexcusable behavior. He has lost his job. He has been banned from the link. He cannot go to Phillies game or Eagles games anymore. So you think, all right, well, that's definitely the end of the story. And maybe it should be. And I want your guys' opinion on this. Came out yesterday that the guy that was actually filming it, his name is Alex Bissara. John Marks, our pal from Philly, tweeted, "The vulgar Eagles fan is clearly a POS. But the Packers' fiance who filmed the incident, he's got a lot going on. How much did he instigate this? Look at his attitude going into the link. He was wearing a body camera to video stuff for content. He also has multiple GoFundMes to pay for his travel to Packers games. Need more info, but it feels like we've been manipulated by this dude." A bit of, I guess, entrapment, perhaps. Again, I don't think you can excuse the guy's behavior. I don't. I think he absolutely should be banned from the link. You read this guy's GoFundMe, which irks me immediately. Immediately, I get irked when I see this. My name's Alex, but you may know me as Bazarowski Productions on YouTube, or simply just Baz. The Packers are heading to the playoffs and are going into Philly next Sunday to take on the 2-seed Eagles. Things are gloomy right now in Packers fandom, but this is for certain. I'm still confident and believe in this team. If you didn't know, I'm born and raised in PA, actually an hour from the Eagle Stadium. So I ask of you, the fans, send me to Philly. Send me into the belly of the beast. I've done it multiple times repping the Packers proud, and I'm fully ready to do it again. I've been cursed at, stuff thrown at me, even my first ever cheesehead ripped off my head and thrown into a fire bin while supporting my team in Philly, but I'm sure as hell not scared to do it again. I have a problem, number one, with people doing GoFundMes for that.
Going to a football game.
Bro, I've seen a few over the years. Where I'm like, I get that you want to go see cage the elephant.
We all
want to
go have fun.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
We have to pay for our own fun.
I'd like to play Pebble Beach someday. I'm sure as F not going to post a GoFundMe. Send Woodsy to Pebble Beach. Let's talk. What would
Will you wear a body camera?
What would your GoFundMe's be if you had zero shame whatsoever?
First class flight.
First class flight.
I've always wanted to fly first class.
Get Ben on a first class.
Nice vacation.
You know the funny thing is, people would donate to get Ben on a first class flight. I would.
But in this case, we're also saying, is he asking people to pay him not only to go to the game, but then
to create content and instigate
things with other fans? Again, doesn't excuse the Eagles fan behavior, but just because the Eagles fan was wrong doesn't mean that the Packers fan can't be wrong.
Also
as well.
wrong.
Yes.
The Eagles fan was absolutely wrong. There is no denying that.
I think, by the way, McKee asked, people actually funded that. I don't think he got a dime from it. I really think it fell on deaf ears, man. But yeah, it's
weird though because, we don't know what happened before and after
correct.
that video.
All you saw was the guy, and again, there's no excuse for that guy to say what he said.
My first instinct, I imagine yours as well, would be, getting in that guy's face or something. Be like, bro, calm the F down. Or we're gonna have a problem, right? Not film it.
He can be heard at the end of the video saying,
"Got it.
I got it."
Yeah.
So in this world of, content creation, in this world of clout chasing, I think you got to be careful on both sides, right? You got to sometimes realize, they're looking to get a rise out of me. I definitely can't do it because I'm on film and it could get back to my employer.
Like I watched the video again just now. It's like a GoPro or something.
Yeah, it's on his
chest. I'm like, well, you're not filming the game.
Right.
With that camera angle and all that.
Right.
Like that's specifically you're trying to get some sort of content.
Correct.
And again, I feel bad for the fiance.
I do too.
Unless they agree.
Unless they're in on it.
They're like, hey,
I hate this,
let's
man.
pile up some people behind us.
It's like
just wear it for me.
It should be such a black and white thing. Like, yes, you cannot call her what you called her. And I think we are steadfast in that, in that declaration. But holy cow, you can't do what this guy's doing either. So does that change anything for you?
No, it just makes me not like someone else as well.
Yeah, it makes you now dislike both parties,
Yeah.
and the sympathy kind of goes away a little bit.
All right, we're running a little behind here. This was more of a don't do this when I saw this story, but I'll finish with a do this.
DD mega do.
So ESPN posted a story a few minutes ago. It was very Dodger-centric. Shohei Ohtani and the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers will be featured on 4 of ESPN's first 10 Sunday Night Baseball broadcasts. April 13th, May 4th, May 25th, and June 1st against the Cubs, Braves, Mets, and Yankees. And I go, great, I'm happy for you. Fantastic. The Dodgers are a high-profile team that's going to be on national TV a lot. We get it. All I wanted to see, though, was, who are the other games? And they don't even put it in the story. I was, annoyed. So I had to go through the actual every Sunday of ESPN's schedule to figure out who are the other Sunday night games. And you know what I learned? The first Sunday night game of the season. The teams that they are featuring in the very first primetime window. Atlanta Braves at the San Diego Padres.
All right.
Yep, first Sunday night game of the year is going to be the Padres at Petco Park.
I like that.
Maybe ESPN executives know something that we don't about some exciting news that's coming to Padres.
He's out of his mind, dude.
And that's don't and do this for the Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
We didn't know that already, right? That they were Sunday night?
Yeah.
We knew they were Sunday night already? I hadn't seen that before.
That's okay.
Right.
It's all right. I doubt very much, though, there's any tea leaves to be read.
I
agree.
You're absolutely right.
Listen, guys, don't go through this year with all the high interest debt that you've accumulated. It's going to stack up. Let Loan Pronto help wipe it out right now. Their rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle the 2025 home improvement project you've been putting off. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Their AI-driven technology gets you approved and funded in as little as a day. We're all impatient. We want what we want. We want it now. That equity is yours. You've worked to get it. Be able to take it out and use it, right? pay off your credit cards, your car loan, your personal loan. So with low fixed rates, lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate your debt, improve your home, take control of your finances this year. Be credit card debt free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 619-207-4336, or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free quote now with no hard credit pull, 619-207-4336, or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Woods, did you just get the email from our engineer, JR, that we get twice a year? We have to always we have to verify that we know how to use the delay, the dump button, as it were, in radio, in case someone says a bad word.
Do.
And I always say I do. I have this button right next to me. It says dump on it.
I don't have one.
You don't
which is
have
moronic to not give me one.
But I've got one. Paulie's got one.
I've got one.
And if I hit it, I'm not going to hit it right now, it pretty much erases the previous 7 seconds.
Yeah.
It jumps to live. It's our delay.
We call it the gossage.
Yes, the goose. Because
You're a nerd, too.
Because obviously we're worried that, if a bad word, a naughty word, got out over the air, that we would lose our radio license.
It's what we've been threatened for years.
Long time. Hey, you say something wrong, they'll
yank your license. They will yank it.
Yank your license.
We'll get fined, and you will lose your license.
But does anyone actually ever lose their license?
From what I heard yesterday from San Diego radio legend and maybe the GOAT in San Diego radio, Dave Rickards, the answer is no. No, they don't.
Yeah, this was a fun little segment. If you missed it, Dave Rickards came in at our 9 o'clock hour, talked about his career on the legendary DSC program, and this one stood out to both of us just because I never thought about it, but I kind of laughed when he said it. So you guys took some chances on the DSC show. One of them, a legendary April Fool's Day prank, when you convinced a good portion of San Diego that the space shuttle was going to land right over here at Montgomery Field. Tell me about that story, the
origin,
lead up, the fallout, and what exactly happened.
So April 1st is our show anniversary. That's our first day, April 1st, 1990. And so we consider that our high holy holiday, and we treated April Fool's Day as an opportunity to try and pull off a gag. And we did probably 7 or 8 really good April Fool's Day jokes, but nothing compared to landing the space shuttle, which I think that was in 92 or 93, which is when we peaked, and it was all downhill for the next 30 years after that. But, it was one of those, if you saw it, if you were in the studio watching it, it was the most basic chewing gum and baling twine thing held together, the dumbest little thing put together that just lightning in a bottle. Got captured that day, and we just started the morning by saying, hey, it's not an emergency, but there was a problem at Edwards Air Force Base where the space shuttle normally lands. Who knew that Montgomery Field was the backup? Because it's so close. Yeah. They had some sort of power failure up there, so they're going to land the space shuttle here today. It's pretty cool. When are we going to get a chance to see that again? So if you want to see the space shuttle land, Montgomery Field this morning, and we faked up some phone calls and made it sound like it was really happening, and then we had just a ton of people out there to watch it happen. And right when the shuttle was about to touch down, Chainsaw, who was Commander Burns, as the so-called commander of the space shuttle, said, "Has anyone said April Fool's Day?"
Oh my God!
It was, it was fun. It was a fun little gag, and the media picked up on it. Next thing I know, we were on CNN headline news, and then all the guys and women who follow us in the Navy and the Marines were sending us newspapers from overseas. And you got to remember, this is before the internet and before email and all that kind of. So newspapers were still important. So we're seeing these headlines in these newspapers from everywhere, from France to Saudi Arabia, about this gag that we pulled. I'm playing the tape on CNN because, look at me, I made CNN. It's a big deal. Meanwhile, the president of our company and the general manager of our company are losing their minds. They're absolutely losing their minds. And as far as I can tell, the biggest complaint that they had was they might have to pay the police for parking. This is what they kept saying. It was. They kept saying, do you realize that we're going to possibly have to pay the police? And I said, what are you talking about? They had to send police out there to direct traffic. And I said, that's their job. They do that every day. And, of course, no bill came from the police. Yep. And, I don't know how many times at how many radio stations our managers have said, we're going to lose our license. We're not going to lose our license. No one's ever lost their license in the history of broadcasting. Jesus, settle down.
They do hold that over your head a lot in this business.
Do.
We're going to lose our license.
We're going to lose our license. And I got to tell you, one of the radio stations I worked for, in the last, 10, 15 years, something like that, The closest we came to losing our license was her fault because she was a convicted felon. And you're not allowed to hold a broadcast license when you're a convicted felon. And she sat us down. She sat us down in the conference room one day when Boyer decided to show us nuts on CBS TV. You know, this is 5 minutes after I told Boyer, when you go in there, don't do anything stupid. Be cool. Just sit there. In fact, don't talk. Don't even look at the cameras. You know, this is when we were working at an AM/FM TV station. We would do this cross promote, and I sent Boyer, and Boyer heard me say I said, "Don't do anything stupid," and he heard me go, "I better show my nuts on TV."
Oh my God!
And so he did, and you know the camera tilted right up, and he started jumping up to get his nuts up into the camera shot. So we get called in to the owner/manager's office, and she's like, "We're probably going to lose our license over the." Nothing happened. She was the one who called the FCC and said, one of our guys showed his nuts. I was like, are you crazy?
Oh, my God.
Well, we got to get out in front of this. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know anything about it. You get behind it. You hide. You tell people,
don't answer the phone.
Nothing happened.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't do anything like that. And, of course, she goes on to be a convicted felon, and she's the one who was going to cost us the license. We never got fined a day in our lives.
That's so refreshing to hear, because I'm threatened all the time by management here, and now you've just taken the reins off of me, Dave Rickards. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And we will be pushing the envelope probably on Friday, just so you know.
So I got curious.
I'm nervous about this.
And I tried to look. So were there any radio stations that really did lose their license over something that happened on the air? And as far as I can tell, has not happened in a long time. Now, there has been some for bribing congressmen and stuff.
I was going to say, what do you really have to do?
Don't
to
bribe
lose
your congressperson for an FCC license. They may take it away, Woods.
It's not as simple as accidentally dropping an F-bomb or something.
Yeah, I could not find anything, at least in recent history, that supported that notion. But there was a station, I think this was maybe the early 80s in Tucson, and they made up a story. Not an April Fool's Day prank like Dave did, but they made up a story about a kidnapping, and it gripped like Tucson, like this.
My God!
This girl has been kidnapped, and they did this big news coverage to drive up ratings. We're going to capture the audience, but it was completely fake, and they actually did take away their license.
So there's a kind of an adage, and you never want to fool your audience, especially these days. I think, people don't want to be tricked. They want to be entertained. They want to laugh with you, at you, whatever. But you can't fool your audience. We did a bit on the Mikey show when I was on it once that drove the audience crazy. And it was just us talking about a normal story, but we would all have these sound effects going off from our phones. Different, just on our phones, boing, just ding, ding. So, everybody heard that, and we didn't address it. We just kept plowing through it, and it infuriated people. You don't want to play sirens and things like that. You don't want to fool them, and you especially can't make up a story about a little girl being kidnapped.
I had to switch. I remember somebody was. We had a normal police alarm, a siren, and somebody's like, "Oh my God, I totally thought I was getting pulled over or something." I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. You're right.
And so now it's a funny siren.
Yeah, you don't think you're getting pulled over by the cops.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to stress anyone out badly. That's not, you should be punished. Your own listeners will punish you for that.
Correct.
If they're unhappy with you. That's the problem there.
So they did actually pull their license. I think that's probably a good idea. What's the name of the show?
I don't know what the show was.
Where was it?
Tucson, in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't have the stomach for a bit like that, especially as it pertains to a child kidnapping.
That's not good.
Who's the guy that goes in and sells his show on that? Hey, I got a great idea.
And then who's everybody else that goes,
oh, sounds good.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
with that.
That is awful.
That's bad.
I'm going to do a little more research. I'm interested.
See if you can find more. I taught tiny blurb. I didn't get any of the details.
Wow.
But. All right, we're going to check traffic. Somehow I managed to get Woods to watch golf again last night.
Yep.
Tiger Woods was center stage. The question is anyone going to keep watching?
Correct.
The TGL, the Indoor Golf League. We'll get to that after check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, been seeing way too many of these. Another brush fire reported on westbound King Freeway right at the southbound 15 connector ramp. Watch out for some activity there. Also an accident involving a motorcycle in North County, West 78 past Woodland Parkway. They have middle lanes blocked there. And a collision on southbound 15 before the 76. A couple vehicles involved. They're over to the left shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, tell us about your little video games.
So, I think I realized why Tiger Woods wasn't on the first episode of the TGL last week, because they knew that they could buy another week of interest in ratings by saving Tiger for week number 2. And, they got me. I wanted to see how Tiger looked and, how he handled the indoor arena that they set up in Florida for his TGL Golf League, his team, the Jupiter Links Golf Club, with his teammates Kevin Kisner and Max Homa, taking on the LA Golf Club, owned by Serena Williams' husband, and Alex Morgan was one of the owners, and it was Justin Rose and Colin Morikawa and Sahith Theegala, and they played just like last week's match in the arena. Tiger came out to Eye of the Tiger, and it was everyone was into it, seeing Tiger out there. He striped his first shot right down the middle and got the big cheers, and it was good to see Tiger competing, even in an indoor fashion. You didn't have to walk anywhere.
No,
you're right there.
Great, man.
Look good.
Swings dialed. Except for that wedge, but yeah.
His team though struggled. I mean, he hit one in the water, but the funniest part of the night was Kevin Kisner, who is a PGA Tour player, although he's been doing more broadcasting lately, I think, than playing. He was awful. I mean,
terrible.
Awful.
Just like us.
He had like 3 in the hazards on drives. But the worst came, so we've told you about this arena. If you haven't watched it, they have the simulator, the big giant movie screen golf simulator, but they also have a real life-size green that changes shape and spins around and has real bunkers, and you chip. So when you finish out the hole by the green, you're actually playing golf inside, not on the simulator. And in one of the later holes, Kisner put his ball in the bunker next to the green.
The real bunker, real sand.
So he's in there, and no one's really thinking much of it. And he comes and does what I think all of us amateur golfers know that we have done many, many times. Absolutely blades a line drive. Like 100-mile-an-hour line drive. This thing is heading on a trajectory that's going to take it straight into like the third row of the crowd and could possibly kill someone in the audience. Fortunately, like 1 in 1,000 chance, it goes right off the flagstick.
Yep, hits the stick.
Just like, hits it dead square on and bounces away, 40 yards off to the side. Tiger and Max Homa just lose it laughing.
They die laughing.
They just die laughing at what had to be one of Kisner's most embarrassing moments of his life. I mean, you're a professional golfer. Yeah, I mean, I get us amateurs. I know I would do that if I was in that arena. You would do the same thing.
I've done it many times.
For a professional golfer who's so good on sand play, you go, a bad shot is when they hit it 12 feet away instead of 4 feet away.
They added some of the things that I wanted, the swing speed, the ball speed, the trajectory, all that. That was great. I love seeing that stuff. I'm kind of a data nerd when it comes to golf. I'm interested.
Yeah, they're swinging at like 130 miles an hour. I'm going, if I get over 100, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm watching that. So I was sitting there with Taylor actually watching it, and he loved it. He's 4, and he goes, I want one of those. That's not going to happen. A, we don't have the room for it. B, we can't afford it. Ask your grandmother. Maybe she'll get it for you. But we're not putting that in our home. But he really was into it. We sat and watched for probably 30 minutes. And he liked the ball flight, and it was cool. Here's the problem, though. One of many problems. These matches have been blowouts.
Yeah, the first 2 have been absolute boat races, and
it's too long. I got up, I watched 30 minutes of it, I was intrigued, and then they're off to a 5-0 lead, and I go, all right, well, I mean, this is pretty much over, and you start doing other things. I can't fathom sitting down and watching an entire match.
I mean, I think they want to win. They're competitive. They're taking it seriously.
Oh, they're taking it seriously.
Both weeks, one team has just been a lot more competent.
Yep.
Than the other team, and yesterday, the LA team won 12-1. So there was no drama in the last few holes. I thought it stretched out longer. It went beyond the 2 hours to like 2.5 hours running over. But it also moves really fast. I don't know how they fix it. If they need fewer holes. I think a simple thing would be to escalate the value of the holes a little bit as you go on, so even a team that falls behind
can win,
has an opportunity to catch up a little bit at the end.
Do we need 3v3?
Maybe 2-on-2,
2v2.
Take one person out of the equation. I like that idea too.
Three
actually.
is a crowd. I really believe that when
you
you're
actually
doing
get more
a match,
interaction when
you're going to get
take
more
a person away.
It's exactly right. It streamlines the broadcast a little bit too. I was reading an article about it this morning, and they said, look, the broadcast needs to figure out what they want to be. Is it fun? Is it serious? What is it? How are we going to do this? Like the blowouts, though, that's what's going to kill you. I mean, watching your team get blown out 12-1 is just not fun at all. But it was great to see Tiger. Great to see Colin Morikawa, great player. Him talking about, Tiger being the GOAT and all that was great. Great seeing Charlie Woods in the stands, who's got a bright future ahead of him on the golf course, busting his dad's balls for, flying one over the green into the water. But yeah, I enjoy it. I do. I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun, but it doesn't hold my attention for longer than about 30 minutes.
If real golf is more your thing, of course, next week is the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines.
And they got a great field.
It's pretty good. I'm worried about, Xander Schauffele, who's always a headliner in his hometown, had to pull out of this week's event. He was supposed to play in the desert at the American Express this week, but is dealing with some sort of injury, I think, and I don't know how serious it is. So crossing my fingers that Xander gets healthy in time and can be part of the field next week at the Farmers Insurance Open, which, remember, runs Wednesday through Saturday next week at Torrey Pines.
Golf's in a weird spot right now because some of the biggest stars of the game are hurt, and they're not playing. Scotty Scheffler is not playing. Xander Schauffele is hurt. I mean, that's not good, Ben, for a league that has lost most of its interesting players to the LIV Tour.
Yeah, Scotty doesn't usually play at Torrey Pines.
Right.
It's not part of his calendar, but, his presence is going to be missed at some of the other events. And, Torrey's been hurt by this, the new elevated events where, it's been Phoenix and Pebble, but they're not getting that, $20 million bonus that draws all the top players. They get some of the top players, but it used to be when Tiger Woods came every single year.
Yep.
Torrey was like a premier destination on the early season golf calendar. Tiger made it into a massive media event. Now it's still really fun. I mean, you go out there, it's a party.
It's a blast.
It's a blast. But in terms of like the golf calendar and the prestige, it's gone down a little bit.
Yep.
And you wonder, what does that mean for the future of the tournament and how it's going to survive on the PGA Tour schedule?
And that's part of the equation. But really, the main equation is that the PGA Tour is just lacking in stars right now. They're lacking in big personalities. Even Scotty, who's the best golfer on the planet, isn't the. I mean, he's fun to watch.
You miss Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and the LIV guys.
100%, man.
Every story needs heroes and villains.
That's exactly right.
And they've separated them all out.
It's a glass of milk, dude. It's a glass of milk right now, and you need to get a little flavor in there.
All right, we'll come back. Notre Dame is playing for the title, which means revisiting the greatest Notre Dame movie of all time or not.
All right, we're halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. We have some very bitchy people in the chat today. Very, on edge, and it's making me on edge. Somebody called me a whore earlier. Jeez, it's just crazy. Because I have live reads for sponsors. You're a whore. God, I mean, it's kind of my job.
I guess we could talk about it. We made a change. I don't think we addressed it, but at the new year we did make a change to our show.
Yes,
we've been doing our live reads at the end of our segments rather than in the middle of the commercial break. Now, if you listen on demand or on YouTube, you haven't been hearing any of the Lone Prontos, QC Kinetics ads because they're during commercial breaks. We decided to switch that up. We moved it into the last part of our segment. And I've had a lot of people going, oh, yeah, no, I've noticed. It's a little, it's weird or I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you get
It'll
used
take
to
some
it.
adjusting.
Well, Edgar DM'd, or not DM'd, he was in the chat, and he's like, come on, guys. I tune in to hear Padres talk. Edgar, it's the off season, buddy. He was mad that we were talking about golf, the TGL, which, fine. I mean, it's a bit of a niche. He said, I'm not saying it's an on-demand show, but newsflash, probably more than half of the people that listen to the show can't afford to golf, let alone want to golf. Listen to you guys because they love the Padres. Bro, we love the Padres too. I would talk 4 hours of Padres. If there was a GD thing to talk about right now, if there was one thing to talk about with the San Diego Padres that, would move the needle, we'd be all over it.
Everyone's on edge because of Roki now.
I think so.
Anytime you got something hanging in the air and you don't know when it's going to drop, I feel the tension. I feel it.
But the funny thing is about this weird job that we have is that we're on for 4 hours, and you happen to tune in when we're talking about something that you don't want to hear about. I can't read the minds.
Entire 7 o'clock hour on one subject.
Yeah, and
but
then
if
you move
tune
on
in at 8:05
you're screwed.
and we're talking about
you're screwed.
Whatever, then you're gonna get upset, and it's like, bro, we just spent an hour on it.
So we've got Joe Theismann coming up at the bottom of the hour. Legendary quarterback. A great, a little twofer this week because not only are his Notre Dame Fighting Irish playing for the national championship against Ohio State on Monday, but he, of course, a Washington quarterbacking legend and a former NFL MVP, and they've got a divisional round matchup coming up this weekend as well. It must be a little weird, though. Joe Theismann, probably one of the 3 or 4 most famous Notre Dame football alums of all time.
Yeah.
Joe Montana, Paul Hornung, Jerome Bettis. Paul Hornung, but it's spelled Hornung.
It's Paul Hornung.
Paul Hornung, Jerome Bettis, Tim Brown. But the most famous, I think if you ask just the general public, the most famous Notre Dame football player of all time, the one that more people can name than even Joe Montana, is Rudy Rudiger.
Yeah. This is a tough one
Correct?
for me. Yeah, I tweeted it over the weekend. I finally got the boys to sit down and watch Rudy. I thought the timing was perfect. They're old enough. I mean, they've seen Heat and The Town. Might as well show them an inspirational movie about never quitting in Rudy. And we put, Manti Te'o, I'd say is a pretty big name as well, not for all the best reasons. But I put the movie on, and I was excited to show them. Now, mind you, I've not watched the movie in 20-plus years. My memories of Rudy were fond. They were fond. I loved it when I saw it at the time. So you're talking about maybe a 29-year-old Woods, maybe even younger. And I go, I'm so excited to show my boys this movie. And I put it on, and after about 7 minutes, I went, this is a colossal piece of dung. It is a colossal turd. Oh, my God. What have I done? My wife instantly picks up her phone and starts scrolling. Bo's in. He wasn't feeling good, so he's kind of into it. Taylor was way into it. He loved it. He thought it was great. You can't get him out of his Irish jersey. But as I continued to watch the movie unfold, I went, this sucks. This movie sucks. Unquestionably, it sucks.
It's not good.
It's not a good movie.
It had been so long since I'd seen it that I didn't remember that the the player that Rudy kind of helped was Jon Favreau in like his first role.
He wasn't a player.
Well, that he was the
tutor.
He was the tutor that he helped. Yeah, but it was like John. I didn't even remember that he was in the movie.
Yeah,
Vince Vaughn's
Vaughn's
like he just
in the
went through
movie.
puberty.
I know he's like 16 years old. You're just a showboat, man. So, look, I realize there are a ton of inaccuracies in the movie. Like most of it is just, which is not uncommon, right? You have to tell the story of Hollywood. From my understanding, there was no guy that let him sleep in the shed and left a key. That didn't exist. That was all made up for TV. I have no doubt that Rudy Rudiger had a really tough road to get in. Now, it was kind of cool for me because I went to the same school as Rudy. I had a professor that taught Rudy when Rudy was making his
Holy Cross.
Yeah, Holy Cross, when he's making his attempt to, get into Notre Dame. But the rest of it is just utter drivel and garbage. It was so bad. And I'm an Irish fan saying this.
The problem with movies like that is that to have a hero, you also need to have a villain. And when you talk about the inaccuracies of Rudy, one of the biggest ones is that, and I feel bad for him, Dan Devine.
Oh, he was an a-hole, I heard.
But he was always going to suit up Rudy and play him. There was no, Joe Montana has said, there was no scene where all of them said, I'm turning in my jersey for Rudy. He was gonna suit up for the final game. That was always going to happen. Dan said, yeah, if you want to do it for the movie, fine. And then he saw the movie and goes, man, do I look like a giant villain here? But that's always the case. Like in Moneyball, Art Howe, and I've met Grady Fuson. He used to work for the Padres.
Grady was a good guy.
They look like giant villains
A-holes
in the movie Moneyball. And because they had to have someone
you're
for
right.
Billy Bean to push back
You're
against.
right. Art Howe was like, he was like, wait, what? Jerry West in Showtime was like, wait, he sued. I think he sued. He's like, I've never said that many curse words in my whole life, ever. But yeah, so
it's not a good movie. It's not a good message.
The message is good.
I don't think it's inspirational.
No, really? Okay, so here's where I'm weird. I watched it fully admitting this is a pile of dung, and I still cried at the end, okay? Like, I still got teared up. Look, the scene that gets me, because I know where this bench is. I've been to that bench. When he gets his last shot at getting in to Notre Dame, and he gets the envelope, sits on the I've sat on that bench before, and he opens it up, and he starts to weep. That's the part that gets me. Like, and having been there and been to,
I'm sure that makes a difference.
And having taken Bo there in September, Bo's like, I know that place. I've been there. That's the Grotto. All this cool stuff that's there. Yes, it's rad to have your favorite school featured in a movie like that. But the movie itself, the brothers, the Rudy, he's like psychotic. Like, I'm a fan, but he's psychotic. He's breaking and entering. Your wife tweeted
every scene he's breaking
in something.
And
he's doing
pulling
the
windows apart,
spraying the helmets and lying to everybody that he goes there. I was like, this is just bad.
My favorite part, the part that I laughed at the most, I should say, is he gets the job with Fortune. And he begs him for this job. I'll work for free. I'll do whatever. And then he finally walks him into the Notre Dame locker room.
Yeah.
And he's looking
and
around.
He jumps up. We're gonna go. I had to leave the room,
getting
Paulie.
ready to start vacuuming, and Rudy pulls a stool out and stands in the middle of an empty locker room. He's like, when they go high, we're gonna go low.
You're gonna go inside. We're gonna go outside. I was like, I gotta leave.
And
I was so embarrassed.
I'm like, hey, buddy, you begged me for this job. Why don't you get your ass off of this stool, stop yelling at nobody, and get to work, you clown?
And we're gonna go. I was. Luckily, my kids are young enough that they couldn't feel the embarrassment that I had from that scene.
It's obviously sold as a movie of persistence.
Yeah, don't
and
quit.
Inspiration. Don't give up on your dreams.
Yeah. Which is great.
If you try hard enough, if you want it bad enough.
If you complain enough and beg enough, maybe somebody will throw you a bone.
Here's the thing, and Paul, I think you read the same piece that I thought made an excellent point. If Rudy had wanted to, he could have played like D2 or D3 football. I mean, he was a decent football player. He was so obsessed though with just being on the Notre Dame team. He rather would be a mascot, for the Notre Dame team than actually go and play college football, which he could have done. And in that case, you're just really selling Notre Dame mystique. You're not really Rudy.
Yeah.
Like, Notre Dame is so special that it's worth giving up
everything,
the rest of your other dreams that you could have had your life just to have one token play at the end of your career for Notre Dame. And, to me, you really should. There's no institution that should have that sort of reverence.
There's and Notre Dame fans feel that way about Notre Dame. And if I took you there, Ben, if I took you there on a Saturday, you would go, all right, man, you're right. It truly is magical. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. Like, you walk on campus, you go, oh, wow, okay, touchdown Jesus, the whole thing. It's crazy. It lures you in. It really does. So, but that dude had never even been there before. He just watched it on TV on a black and white. He had no idea. Even the priest wouldn't let him on the bus to go even tour it because his grades were so bad. Yeah. And, I mean, the part where he's sitting in the bar and that girl's in there and he goes, Mary, Mary, how does your garden grow? I go, that's it. I'm done. I can't watch this movie. This is crap. This is crap.
I'd like to make an announcement, though. After careful consideration, and partly in support of you, I will be rooting for Notre Dame.
I would rather you root for Ohio State.
I can't root for
I
Ohio
want you
State.
to. I want you to.
Fade Ben.
You want
Fade
me?
Ben.
You want me to cheer for Ohio State?
I do. Makes for better
I don't
radio.
know. I don't feel like I can. Maybe I'll just cheer against both teams then. I don't know.
I also heard. Did he not get a sack in real life?
He did. He did.
Okay.
Joe Montana said he did.
Okay, get the sack. I did read a funny piece in The Ringer, I think, that wrote about it years ago, and they said it basically just consists of him getting the crap beat out of him at practice, telling the coach, I can do it, coach, and then not being able to do it even a little bit. They just work that. Who would do that? Just to help the team win. Like, he's just a punching bag. The slow clap killed me.
Here it is. It was Deadspin, not The Ringer, and they end it with, they just rip the movie. And they end it with, it's strange that millennials are always dubbed as the, quote, everyone gets a trophy generation.
Yeah.
When Rudy is considered one of the most inspirational stories to come out of the 70s. This is quite literally the story of a bad football player who gets to play for an elite team simply because he asks enough times.
Yeah, he just asks enough times. You got to play me, coach. You got to play me. I mean, I love Notre Dame. I feel it in my bones. If one of my kids got into Notre Dame, Ben, it would be everything for me. It would be everything for me. But I want it to be their dream, not my dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want it to be their
force
dream.
It on them. That's not what they want.
I'll take them to the games. I'll show them tell them about the mystique and everything else. But if you don't want to do it, don't do it for me. Me and my brother both tried to do it for my dad. Neither of us got in. I got as close as anybody could possibly get. But once I got there and I heard how hard the school was, I go, no, this is not for me.
All right, speaking of football, I was looking over my Prize Picks options for the pro football playoffs this weekend. Derrick Henry, 97.5 rushing yards, more or less. I mean, based on how he's going, how do you pick against that guy? Patrick Mahomes, 1.5 passing touchdowns with a layoff. Matter after a week off. You can make all these choices yourself when you sign up for Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy with 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. All you have to do is pick more or less on between 2 and 6 player lineups to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. And when you sign up, which is very quick and easy to do, use the code KWFN at their website. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Set like 10 $5 lineups with that. You can win like big money with a $5 lineup if you play it right. You can go with the extra demons or the goblins. They're like easier picks or harder picks. Kind of increases or decreases your chances. But you can increase your winnings by the same way. So use code KWFN. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. And if it's not football, you can play basketball right now. Hockey, they've got all kinds of sports every single night of the week. You are playing with Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. If you want to call in now for Take on Woods, coming up in our next segment, chance to qualify for a trip to Vegas, 833-288-0973. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Got Joe Theismann coming up at the bottom of the hour. Continue our Notre Dame talk here on Ben and Woods this morning.
Yeah, buddy. And Commanders.
And Commanders as well. This is their the first time they won a playoff game in nearly 20 years.
Yeah, insane. Peter in the chat said, look, I'm good with all these corny-ass movies for the kids. I mean, what's the alternative of Rudy? Just quit and go steelworking? I guess now Rudy should have put out an ND rap. It's a good point. It's a good point. It is. I did cry at it because I always cry at it, but I can also admit this is a turd. This is a big old turd. But my kids liked it, so that's the most important thing.
All right, why don't you step aside and we will welcome our contestant in, play a little Take on Woods. We've gotten off to a little slow start. Yesterday was a tough category. I think it was a 1-0 final. So we're going to try to correct that today.
Somebody
I know
please
Roger.
Get one right.
I know Roger always comes to play. Good morning, Roger. How are you?
Well, good morning. First call of the year for me.
All right.
What's up,
Welcome to
Roger?
2025's Take on Woods. You've got 3 categories to choose from. Here they are. All in, all 2-second songs. All start with the word all. 5150 hold. Those are song titles that include euphemisms for, mental illness. And then finally, hot takes. 5 song titles that begin with the word take. So all in, 5150 hold, or hot takes.
Let's try the 5150 hold.
All right, 5150 hold. This is probably a more disguised category. This was submitted by Tier 1 Scott. Thank you, Scott. Send in some questions. It includes 5 song titles that all include a word meaning mentally unwell. I think you can kind of imagine what that is. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know one pass, we'll come back to it. You go first, then Woods, and we compare scores. If you win or tie, we'll put you into the grand prize drawing for our 2-night stay at the Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. 2 tickets to see the Scorpions celebrating 60 years with a new Las Vegas residency show, February 27th to March 11th at PH Live at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com. We'll even throw in a $100 gas card. So, first question is the 2-second song. Paulie's going to play you some music. You need to give me that title with the mentally unwell word and the artist. You know how to play. Roger, are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock in the category 5150 hold. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Roger. Let's take on Woods.
That is Insane in the Membrane by Hill.
Insane in the Brain by Cypress Hill, but I'll give it to you. The Talking Heads use the French phrase, qu'est-ce que c'est? What is this? Right after the title of which song? Their first hit in 1977.
Psycho Killer.
Correct, which early 1976 hit by Heart begins with about 45 seconds of acoustic guitar by...
Crazy on You.
Correct. 2 years before their major hits of the mid-1980s, Tears for Fears first hit the charts in 1982 with which dreamy song sung by bassist...
Mad World.
Correct. Helped by the fact that radio stations often played the first 3 tracks of the album in order, which Prince song reached top 10 on the charts in 1982 along
Let's Go
with...
Crazy.
No, you jumped the gun a little bit. Along with 1999 and Little Corvette. That one is Delirious.
You know what?
Delirious.
I bet Woods does the same.
I bet he
exact
does
thing.
too. It's definitely, that's the trick question. But you got the first 4: Insane in the Brain, Cypress Hill, Psycho Killer by the Talking Heads, Crazy on You by Heart, and Mad World. Let's see how Woods does. Hang on the line, Roger. All right, you know you need to bring your game when Roger is the contestant.
Bring my game for every contest.
I know you do.
Try to.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Might be a difficult category to figure out. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Roger.
Insane in the Membrane by Cypress Hill.
Correct. The Talking Heads use the French phrase, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Psycho Killer.
Correct, which early 1976 hit by Heart begins with about 45 seconds of acoustic guitar.
Crazy on You.
Correct. 2 years before their major hits of the mid-'80s, Tears for Fears first hit the charts in 1982, with which dreamy song sung by bassist Kurt Smith.
Pass.
Helped by the fact that radio stations often played the first 3 tracks of the album in order, which Prince song reached top 10 on the charts in 1982, along with 1999 and Little Red Corvette.
Let's Go Crazy.
Incorrect.
What?
2 years before their major hits of the mid-'80s, Tears for Fears first hit the charts in 1982, with which dreamy song sung by bassist Kurt Smith.
Crazy Taint.
It is not, and
Ooh, you
Roger
needed that one.
sneaks out the 4-3 win. He did the same thing you did. Made perfect sense with the category, which was 5150 hold. Delirious was the Prince song.
Damn it.
Which
Ooh,
also
that's a
has
tricky one.
also has the mental illness. Mad
that's
World
fun.
though
Yeah.
was the one that was the difference.
Mad World.
Which it's a good song, and
It's not, but
you don't like that
I
one.
have to play it all the time.
World, oh, too much. All right, Roger, hang on the line.
Damn
You're
it.
qualified for the trip to Las Vegas.
Good match, at least, finally.
In your first appearance of 2025.
Damn it.
It's all right. That was submitted by Tier 1 Scott as well.
Great. Hey,
Said in that
I like
category.
that.
Fun category. Scott, always welcome your submissions if you got some ideas for Take on Woods. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Joe Theismann, the quarterback, Notre Dame, Washington Commanders. I'll talk about all the big football games coming up this weekend. First, Woods?
Yes. QC Kinetics, my friend. They can really make a difference in your life. If you are struggling right now, your joints are hurting, these guys are the best at what they do. You don't have to finish this year with the same old joint pain. Get in there, get it looked at. Your knees, your hips, your back, your shoulder. It was my wrists that I went in for, and my knee as well. Make the decision to say, no, I'm not going to do it this year, man. I'm going to go to QC Kinetics. I'm going to get back on the surfboard, the bike. I'm going to start jogging again, playing golf, whatever it is. Get moving again in 2025 with help from QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. Revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments. All natural solutions like PRP attacks the pain from arthritis. Tens of thousands of people like myself with pain have discovered these cellular treatments. They're living their lives again without that constant pain in your joints. It is no fun, man. It really isn't. So if you want to learn more about how you can refresh your joints, get lasting relief with these treatments, call QC Kinetics. They'll give you a free consultation. Got a location in Torrey Hills and one in Hillcrest. So deal with joint pain now. You can make the most of the new year by calling 619-614-PAIN, 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics at 619-614-PAIN.
I think it may have happened. I won a music argument with Woods.
Yeah, you did. You did. I was wrong. Wow.
As we went through the break, I said, I can't believe you don't like Mad World by Tears for Fears. It just seemed like right up your alley. It's not an overplayed Tears for Fears song.
Yeah.
And you were thinking there was a different version by someone else.
It's slower. It's by Gary Jules. That's one we used to play all the time, and I hated it.
Not as good.
Not as
Tears
good.
for Fears, though, version
is very good.
Great song. And you agreed with me finally.
Yep, I did.
Outstanding. Yep. All right, we will get back to the Roki Sasaki talk and much more coming up. But Paulie has lined up our next guest. It's been a while since we've talked to him, but couldn't think of a better week to return to the Ben and Woods program. Former NFL MVP, Notre Dame quarterback, Joe Theismann is back here with us on Ben and Woods. Joe, it is great to have you on in San Diego. It's been too long. How have you been?
I've been great, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm having a heck of a week, but if you go back to November, I played for the Toronto Argonauts and they won the Grey Cup.
Wow.
So I'm working on a trifecta.
All right, so I got to ask. The Argonauts have already gotten theirs out of the way.
Yeah.
Joe, I need you to pick one. ND championship or a
Washington
Commanders.
Wow. If
Commanders
you had to only pick
championship.
one.
You only get one.
Oh, why do you do this to me?
Because I can.
Gee whiz. Because you can. I like that. I think the Commanders can go into Detroit, and that means they'd wind up playing the Rams or the Eagles, and I think they match up well with them. I'm fortunate enough to have gone to 2 Super Bowls with Washington and had a chance to win one with our 82 football team. So never had a chance to win one at Notre Dame. Matter of fact, I was in between them. They won in 66. They won in 72. I was there from 67 to 70. So I want Notre Dame to win so that I can fill that void right there.
I'm with you.
I see that. I mean, would you say it's tougher to win now a college football championship than a Super Bowl?
I do, because you don't have consistent players. You can't build a program. You piecemeal programs together. You find we're on our 3rd quarterback in 3 years, and I think this is a real credit to Marcus Freeman and Mike Denbrock and Al Golden, the job he has done. We're lucky at Notre Dame. Not too many guys jump and leave us because, they value their education. They value the University of Notre Dame. And we have a lot of guys that have stayed and some that have come. But and other universities, I'm sure, feel that way. But we see a lot of guys bouncing from one place to another to another. I just think it's difficult to be able to create any kind of consistency in college football today because of the movement that occurs through the portal.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Joe. Grew up a Notre Dame fan. My dad went there as well. And I went to Holy Cross like Rudy. I could not get in, but I remember him letting me stay up late to watch the Fiesta Bowl in 1988. And since the years have passed, I was 13 years old when they won their national championship. I've never been happier. And I that's the one I want. I want one more for my dad. I want one more for me. And now I've got 2 boys. I want them to see one, get that experience because, again, I've carried that thing around with me for 30 years, since they've won a huge game. And you can't say enough good things about Marcus Freeman. What he's been able to do is really astounding in this age. And somebody tweeted the other day, his most remarkable accomplishment is making Notre Dame likable again. And I had to laugh because I went, yeah, that's true. I've got people all over the country saying, finding it really hard to root against this guy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's such a genuine person. I've been very fortunate to spend time with him. He's real. He's real when you sit with him. He's real when you see him on TV. He loves the university. He's committed to the university. So often we see coaches just bounce from one place to another for an economic reason. And Marcus is committed to the players. And that's the thing. He recruits these guys. They come there, and he's committed to them. And like I said, I think, the hiring of his assistants has been really special, our entire staff. And, the one thing you can't discount when you get to this time of year, whether it's at the professional level or the collegiate level, is the field goal kicker.
Yes.
I mean, Jeter had, he was like 8 for 15 going into Georgia, makes 3 against Georgia, makes another one against Penn State. Our Gonzalez in Washington, decides he wants to carry him one off the upright.
Oh, my gosh.
And put it through. I mean, my heart. When that thing started to go right, my heart just skipped a beat, and then he hit it, and I literally jumped out of my chair. my wife looked at me like I was nuts. And it was just such an incredibly emotional moment. But this is the time of year you look at that other element, not just the offense and defense, but the special teams part of it. I mean, we get that kick return against Georgia.
Yeah, huge.
You make field goal. I mean, and you look at these different games. We're in Washington. We're going to the next round of the playoffs because of a kick.
Talking to quarterbacking legend Joe Theismann here on Ben and Woods. And Joe, would you say, it looks like the Commanders have figured out their quarterback situation now with Jaden Daniels, but kind of went down that road with RG3 and then didn't work out as well as they thought. What in your mind has made him so successful so quickly in the NFL, and what do you see the future holding for him?
I think it's his work ethic and his temperament. The athletic skills are there. The ability to throw the ball down the field is something we haven't had that in years. We haven't averaged right around 20 points in God knows how many years, and now I think we averaged 28 during the season. But Jaden is just very, very special, very unique. He has a great demeanor. He has a great work ethic. To me, you've got to be accurate with the football. You have to be able to throw it just hard enough to be able to get it into spaces. And keep in mind, he hasn't really had a chance to totally understand the game. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's done a terrific job calling games and getting him comfortable and giving him a chance to run. I used to like to run early in games just to sort of get the cobwebs knocked out a little bit and get your juices flowing. And Jaden does it exceptionally well. I mean, if you made a list of 10 things that you like in quarterbacks, you'd check every box with him.
I heard some really nice, it's a really simple compliment from Dallas Cowboys Micah Parsons. I saw a little clip going around. He goes, hey, if you can win one playoff game, you can win another. And I think there's going to be a lot of people interested on how this game goes down against the Lions. The Lions defense, they will give up huge chunks of yardage. They will give up points. Do you get the sense that this is going to be a bit of a shootout between these two teams?
I would think you don't want to get in a shootout with the Detroit Lions.
You do not.
I think I think our running game last week was just good enough against Tampa Bay to give Jaden a chance to throw the ball in different places. And I mean, Diami just stepped up gigantic in that game. Brown hadn't really had that many catches. Terry is Terry. Terry McLaurin never gets talked about as a part of the elite in the receiving game in professional ball, but he should. I'd take him over. Really, I'd really take him over anybody because he makes every tough catch there is. You don't see a highlight film necessarily of him making a one-handed catch, but you see him going up and holding on to the ball in very critical situations in a game. So I think that you don't want to shoot out. You want to be able to control time of possession. I think that's going to be critical for Washington in this game. You've got to figure out a way to tip time of possession in your favor, whether it's Jaden running, whether it's B-Rob running, whoever's handling the football, whether it's, short passes, however you want to do it. You want to be able to continue to do what you did. And what becomes critical is don't drop the ball. Don't have drop passes. Don't turn the ball over. That's a large part of why Washington has had the success that they have had because they've been very, very good with the football in their hands.
Well, it's funny. You watch these two matchups. So the games that you're interested in, both of those games, the Lions don't give up a ton on the ground. The Ohio State Buckeyes don't give up a ton on the ground. Both teams in both games are going to have to run the football. You saw what happened to Notre Dame last week when they seemingly could not run the ball, and then they came out. I saw the speech yesterday from Coach Freeman about controlling the line and getting the football moving. Jeremiah Love obviously did it. Your running backs are going to need to do it for Washington, but it does seem so obvious. It's amazing that it took the Irish till the second half to get the ground game going, and it's just something that's so important for both of these teams that you love.
Well, don't lose sight of the fact that we lost two offensive linemen.
100%.
So, I mean, as in the first half, you're just trying to put pieces back together. You're looking for Band-Aids and Scotch tape, and duct tape to try to put things together. And all of a sudden the guys get their feet wet a little bit, and they go out and they perform at a very high level. I still think no matter what the situation is, you just can't abandon the run. And I don't think Cliff will do that. And fortunately, you have Jaden back there who has the ability to be able to do it. Now, Jared's a different story. Basically where he's going to be. I don't think Ben's going to move him a lot because that's not what they do. They want to get the ball out of his hands into the receiver's hands and let them go do some stuff. you're right about the Notre Dame. Notre Dame is based, it's run first, then it's Riley Leonard run. Washington is let Jaden run, we'll get B-Rob the ball, and then we'll pick and choose as we go down the field to take our shots. I thought what Notre Dame did well against Penn State, which they really hadn't done a lot of, was throw the ball effectively. Riley threw the ball very effectively. And keep in mind, he had no spring work. In the beginning of the year, he really sort of started playing right from the get-go because he got hurt against Notre Dame when he was at Duke a year ago. So he didn't really have a lot of spring ball. And so as the time off and all the time he spent now, we see him getting better and better and better. And you know how what kind of an aggressive runner he is. And both my quarterbacks, I claimed them. Both my quarterbacks run the ball very, very well.
Talking to Joe Theismann, last thing for me, Joe. Before you were on, we were talking about the movie Rudy. Now, I believe you were there just a couple of years before Rudy was at Notre Dame. What are your thoughts, being so close to the program, on the movie Rudy?
And you can speak honestly. Yeah. I'm a huge fan, and I revisited it over the weekend with my kids aged 7 and 4, and I was actually embarrassed at how bad of a movie it is, and I did not remember how bad it was, Joe. So you can speak honestly on it. The scenery's great. Nice seeing the grotto. Nice seeing everything. The story. But man,
look at the story.
All right.
Look at the story. It's a story of perseverance. I want to tell you something. There's a guy by the name of Pete Chivarelli who I was in school with. Peter and I graduated in 1971. He manages the Chicago, the band. Peter and I were teammates together at Notre Dame. Peter was Rudy before Rudy. You're having that chance to want to get on the field and go into the coach and give me a chance and all that kind of stuff. And Peter almost got in the Texas game. What Peter did is there's a statue of Ara Parseghian that sits outside one of the gates at the University of Notre Dame Stadium. Peter commissioned that particular statue, and he's actually the front guy in it. He made himself a little taller, but he's the front guy in it. But I just think that, to me, it's more than the acting. It's more than all that other stuff. It's the story of perseverance, and that's what Rudy is. It's the story of trying to do everything you can to be able to get where you want to go. And Peter did that. Peter came to school at like 22 years old. He had a thing called Demon Dogs in Chicago, right under the L. He worked there before he ever came to the University of Notre Dame, but he loved the university so much, and he does a tremendous amount for our band there. I mean, he gives them backpacks and gets them to get some places they need to go to. I mean, and Rudy has just done a terrific job, I think, of taking that particular movie, and he shot the living daylights out of it. It was perseverance just to get it on. And so, to me, I think they're both great stories about the University of Notre Dame.
Love it.
All right. It's a feel-good story, and that's all you need to know. I know Joe Montana kind of pushes back against it sometimes, but Joe Theismann is all in on Rudy.
Joe is closer to it than I am.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, he actually had to play with that guy. Yeah, so.
Joe, really appreciate it. Good luck to all your teams this weekend and the rest of the month, and take care.
Thanks, guys. Hope to see you at the Super Bowl.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe Theismann, everybody. That was fun.
You're barking up the wrong tree there, Joe. We're not being sent to the Super Bowl, I promise you.
Probably not, but hopefully you get to go. Well, he usually goes anyway.
Yeah, he goes out, yeah. That's so great, man.
Whether or not the Commanders make it.
He sounds so good. Somebody in the chat said, man, Joe still has his fastball. I said, I couldn't agree more. Fantastic.
He does. We're all, who doesn't like the Detroit Lions?
Yeah,
Dan Campbell,
of course.
But, there's definitely an argument to cheer for the Commanders here. It's a good story now that they've changed ownership and, just feels like they've refreshed the franchise in so many ways.
It's hard not to like Jane Daniels.
It is hard not to like him.
Fantastic.
In fact, I do like him quite a bit. Someone's going to lose that game, and it's going to be kind of sad.
Yeah, it will.
That someone's going to get knocked out, but that's the playoffs for you. All right, I know people are still dying. Any news on Roki? No.
Nothing.
Keep you caught up, though. First, though, check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Jack in the Box. Collision on northbound 5 before the 54. 3 right lanes are blocked. Also, westbound King Freeway before College Grove. Crash being cleared out of the center divide. Up ahead, another accident right at the 5. That one, too, is in the clearing stage. In the North County, northbound 15 before Auto Park Way. Crash involving a car and a semi. That's over to the right shoulder. Don't like to be told what to eat and when? Then let me introduce you to the $6 all-day big deal meal at Jack in the Box. No matter the hour, you get to choose from 4 entrees and 5 tasty sides, plus a drink. So do you and get a burger, fry, and hash brown in the AM. At Jack, every bite's a big deal. And Kelly Danek at Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Still nothing on Roki Sasaki.
No.
Is this we're going to feel like this way until
I hate these shows.
the middle of next week?
You're just kind of waiting and looking
yeah, but we
at
can't do tomorrow the same way and then Friday.
I know.
I mean, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, I get your point that you don't want this to drag on any longer than it needs to.
You know, and I said yesterday, I've liked how they have handled it so far. I really, really liked the elimination of the other teams. And you're seeing, the last couple days, letting the Mets and Yankees and Cubs know, hey, we're not going to be signing there, so you're free to move on. And you're seeing other teams go out and sign some international free agents today. International
and if anything wants to really give you some hope that the Padres have a legit shot, it's the fact that he hasn't made his decision yet. If there's no reason to string along other teams, he can't increase the offer. There's nothing he can do. It's simply he's going through his process and taking his time. And presumably the reason why he's taking his time is that it's a difficult decision.
Well,
there are different factors that point to different teams, and he's legitimately going through and trying to decide because he hasn't decided which team he's going with yet. Is that possibly true? Am I being naive?
I think you're being a little naive. I feel like he knows where he's going.
Then why are we going through all this?
I mean, we haven't really gone through anything yet. Today's the deadline. So it's just what it means is we're going to spend the entirety of our day on our phones, on Twitter.
But why even go through the process of narrowing it down to 3 then? Why not just not say anything and then on Wednesday
let those other
go
teams
with the team you were always getting? Then why not let all the teams know?
Yeah, fair.
I just feel like he legitimately is still trying to decide.
I guess you can make a case for that. The fact that he didn't just say, no, it's I'm signing with blank on Wednesday. I guess that's a possibility.
He could have said it a month ago.
Yeah, true.
He said, I'm waiting until January 15th when the new deadline opens, but I've decided I'm going to sign with whoever it is. The reason why I think it's taking so long is that he really wants to make the right decision. And I can see why this would be a very hard call. It's not as easy as Dodgers fans make it out to be. It's not as easy as Padres fans would make it out to be. I think this would be a legitimately tough call. How would you be handling it?
Me?
If you had to decide. Like, take away your Padres allegiances and your Dodger hate, and you're starting your career, and you have to choose between one of the two teams. I think it would be
one of the three teams.
3, really, but I think it would be a legitimately hard decision between those two.
I mean, I really don't.
It would have been done by this morning.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy
either. I'm not going to blame the guy if he signs with LA at all. I mean, it's a really good opportunity.
Yeah,
for
but
him.
what do you want? What do you want out of this?
World Series rings.
Yeah, rings, championships, elite appreciation, and to win. I like to win.
I don't know. I don't think I'd feel the same way. And I'm being truly honest here. The Dodgers have already put together their team. I don't think I'd want to just be the 16th piece of a puzzle that's already been put together.
Oh man, winning at the big league level is pretty special, and I don't know. I'm not trying to make the case for him here, but
if you're not going to surprise me,
16th piece either. He'll be in their rotation.
I'm not saying the 16th member of their rotation, but in terms of...
I think it actually is the 16th member of their rotation. I think he slots in
at
number...
They may have 15 other...
Yeah, I mean, he may not be number 16, but he's one of 16 starting pitchers for them. So I think...
Of course, I'd want to win, but I'd want to be instrumental to the winning.
You would be.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because you're going to pitch every 6th day. You're not going to play 162. You're pitching every 6th day, and I'm instrumental in the fact that I won my games.
But everyone knows that the Dodgers don't need him.
Correct.
Everybody has agreed, even Dodgers fans. We like him, but we don't need him. We're fine without him. Yeah. I just don't know that that's the team that I would want to pick, the one that it doesn't need me at all. I'm just another trophy, I'm just another notch on their belt.
I don't know, man. Like, I've done the whole thing of putting myself in his shoes.
I'm the fifth starter.
No.
At best.
No.
Really?
Yeah, you probably two.
With
Number
everyone's
one,
healthy?
two. Yeah. So you got Snell.
Glasnow, Snell, Yamamoto, and Otani.
And, yeah.
I mean, Sasaki is at fifth at best, I think. At least at the start of his career, when he's going to be somewhat
Glasnow
limited.
and Otani are no guarantees.
Sure,
health-wise.
sure.
Yeah.
But neither is Roki, actually, at least early in his career. I think he's coming off a season in which he had some shoulder issues. Going to have to be careful. So will the Padres. Six-man rotation. But I don't know.
I just don't get the sense he's agonizing over this decision. I don't know why. I just don't get the sense it's like in agony. Probably waiting in the last minute to prevent people of charging the Dodgers with tampering or something. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I just don't get the sense he's agonizing over this.
All right, we'll come back. Final hour. We've got our Rindle Report and more still to come. Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
And I've just been confirmed across the street. So,
for your streaming appearance.
Yes.
Good for you.
My buddy Jake Garignani on Channel 8.
Could help your brand.
Nando in the chat
The
says,
Woods brand.
this show is crap, to be honest. All right. It's just been one of those days. It's just people have those, just people are, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Something in
Does
the
he mean
air.
today or maybe just in general
I
all
think
the
just
time?
in general all the time. There was a full moon. People get weird. I don't necessarily always believe in the full moon bit, but the older I get, I kind of do.
Fine. Then Nando,
Thanks,
this
Nando.
is directed to everybody but you. The biggest fan contest is returning.
You can't win.
On January 27th. Our grand prize is a night in the Odyssey Suite. 20 tickets for you and your friends at a future Padres game. All you have to do, as long as you're not Nando, is register your name at 973thefan.sd.com/biggestfan. Put your name in, and then starting January 27th, listen when we announce names each day, 9 a.m. on our program, 1 p.m. on the Annie and Elston Show, and 5:30 on Gwen and Chris for your chance to call back within 10 minutes and qualify for the night in the Odyssey Suite at Petco Park.
Now, maybe Nando likes the other shows.
Well,
And he doesn't think they're crap, so he could be the biggest
He
fan.
could still win.
Wouldn't the irony be that he loves Gwen and Chris, but his name gets called during our show and he's not listening?
He's not listening.
Because we can't promise you that if you're a tier 1 that
Something tells
the
me he'll
name
be
will get
listening.
called in the morning. It could be called in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It could be called in the evening. We just don't know where the names land.
Well, Nando, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I'd give you a hug if I could. I love you.
I know this story carried no interest to you earlier, so I'm going to bring it back because ESPN has unveiled the first half of their Sunday Night Baseball schedule in its entirety. Padres actually have 3 appearances on Sunday Night Baseball in the first half of the season. The first Sunday, March 30th, against the Atlanta Braves at Petco Park. April 20th, on the road against the Houston Astros. And then again on July 6th at home against the Texas Rangers.
July 6th. Okay.
July 6th. Yeah. So those are the recently released Sunday Night Baseball through August 17th games that ESPN is going to be airing on Sunday nights.
Justin says if you crap on the show in the chat, you get airtime. Got it. Yes, Justin Braley. That's exactly right. If you want to be mentioned, just crap on us and I will give you a shout out. Shout out to Justin. Nando, too.
It does tend to draw Woods' attention.
I stink.
Do you?
Yeah. God. It's like smuggling garlic under my pits. I don't know
Using that organic deodorant
Yes,
stuff
Tom's.
again?
I've switched to Tom's. And my deodorant,
Go back to whatever you're using.
my deodorant smells like sweat. So when I smell, I go, I'm going to put this on to mask the scent.
No, that's not my scent. That's what my deodorant smells like. It smells like BO. My deodorant smells like
dude.
BO. I don't really like the phrase BO.
I reek. This sucks. What happened? I need like a wipe or something. I just noticed. Sorry. If you smell something, it's me. I'm telling you right now. This is.
I think I'm far enough away.
Nando said this show is crap. No, this show smells.
This show
like
stinks like garlic. Like I had 2 bales of onions.
What did you eat last night?
Spaghetti
with garlic?
No.
No.
Man, dude, yeah, this show doesn't stink. Woods does. Exactly. It's exactly right. Thank you, Nate. This is terrible. Terrible.
That is such. I mean, you're so open about it. I think most of us would smell, and then we'd spend the rest of our days
not
with our arms very tightly to our sides.
I can't stop smelling it. It's so bad. I can't stop smelling
until we
it.
could get back to the drugstore.
You want to
or
smell
something.
it?
No, I do not want to smell it. I don't.
It's not great.
I'll give you $5 if you smell it.
All right.
I don't want $5.
Just smell it.
No.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Scale of 1 to 10. What?
How bad it smells?
I don't know. I don't want to find out. Why doesn't Paul? If you're so curious, Paul.
I'm not curious.
Real quick.
It's like a 6. I mean, it's not great. There's a hint of deodorant there.
That's the deodorant. It smells like sweat.
There's a slight soapiness that it's counteracting it.
It's onion flavored
soap.
Do you say flavored? Onion scented.
Onion flavor.
It's onion scented. It's onion and garlic scented with a little chili smell in there as well. God, dude.
Chili.
Like chili, like
a
beef
pot
chili.
of chili?
Yeah. This is not good. Sons of Arkansas need to change the secret. Other stuff is telling me. I think I'm with you. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. It's perfect for me.
pH balance.
pH balance. That's right. This is stinky. Sorry for the detour. I took my sweatshirt off because I was hot, and I noticed that I happened to really smell.
Are you nervous for some reason? Sometimes when people are like nervous, they will sweat and it may smell worse. The stench of fear.
This 4 hours a day is the least nervous I ever am. Does that make sense? It shouldn't be that way.
That's weird.
But the minute I leave here is when I get nervous. Truly. When I'm here, this is my safest space on the planet, is being here with you guys and with the tier ones, most of the tier ones. But this is the time that I'm least nervous in the day. I'm way more nervous when I leave here. Way more. So, sorry about that.
A little news from John Morosi. Not that this is unexpected, but Ha-Sung Kim not expected to be ready for opening day due to the shoulder injury. Remember, he suffered diving back to first base late in the season, ended his year with the Padres. He became a free agent in the offseason, has not signed anywhere, so he remains on the open market. And I assume one of the reasons why he does is the questions about his health going into the year and when he will be available. They have acknowledged what I think was fairly clear. He's not going to be ready to go. Not quite sure how long it's going to take for him to be 100% and healthy, but it's got to be a big factor for any team. He's looking for a multi-year deal. He's looking for, his big free agency contract, and he's got this very inconvenient time to have a shoulder injury.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to have to take that 1 year prove-it deal. Now, could that be a return to the San Diego Padres? I have no idea. Is that something you guys would be interested in? Ha-Sung Kim on a bargain, as he, could give you half a season. I don't know there's no timetable for his return. We all saw the injury, and remember, we saw him get hurt, and he was out for a while. I went to San Francisco for that series. It was September 17th. It was for my wife's birthday. I'm down there pregame, and we're in our seats, and I'm looking at the guy in the cages, and I go, "Oh, that's Ha-Sung Kim," and he is ripping baseballs. And I mean, this was not a half-ass 50% in the cage. He was ripping balls off the wall. And I'm like, all right, well, clearly he can swing it. It's the throw, I guess. It's the maybe the diving around, playing short or whatever. But I'm really surprised this thing is nagging him as long as it has. Because again, you couldn't swing harder than he was swinging down there. I've never seen anybody swing that hard in my life.
It's not. This is nothing against Ha-Sung Kim. It's more of just the circumstances around the team. They've missed out on some free agents that we thought we needed him. We could have used him.
Higashioka, sure.
And I don't know if if their money's tight or whatever, but do we need Ha-Sung Kim? I don't know that it's a position of need right now. You have other spots that you absolutely
let's play
need
this out.
that should get all the money right now.
Let's say you sign Ha-Sung Kim to a 1 year deal, so he allows himself to get healthy and re-enter free agency. He gets back end of May, let's say. All right,
$1 million? Okay.
So then you've started the season. You've asked Xander Bogaerts probably. All right, you're starting it short, but when Ha-Sung Kim comes back, you're moving again to second base? Or what do you do in that circumstance?
I have no idea. Brandon says when you went to San Francisco, I don't think he'd had surgery at that point. Did he have? He did.
No, he had waited on the surgery until later.
He was trying to come back.
Once he had the surgery, that obviously changes the equation.
Yeah, once you get the surgery, that'll change it up.
True.
But again,
are you concerned as AJ Preller of yanking around Xander Bogaerts again?
Yes, of course I am. I mean, if you're Xander Bogaerts, do you have any confidence? Do you have any idea where you're playing? I know Mike Schilt. I think it was either us that he told or it was MLB Network, one of the two, and he said, look, that was tough on Xander. We're going to do better this year. He's going to know coming in. I haven't heard any bold proclamations that we're a few weeks away. I don't know the conversations they've had behind the scenes, but I would imagine.
Privately, they could have told him, you're a shortstop for this season, but that would change if Ha-Sung Kim was signed, I would imagine.
But again, what version of Ha-Sung Kim are you getting? If you get a healthy Ha-Sung Kim for half a season, can he help you? Yes, absolutely.
I think it's also human nature. I get that baseball is a business and executives can be patient, but when you sign a free agent, you want to unwrap your toy
Correct.
immediately. No one wants to sign a free agent and go, and we get to wait 2 months while he gets healthy.
Yeah, you ever see a guy get called up on a Wednesday? That dude is in there Wednesday night. It happens every day. They're going to Ray Kerr here, making his major league debut. Like, it happens every
like
time.
To use your new toys.
You like
right
to
away.
use it. That's exactly right.
And, worst case scenario, he has a setback in his recovery. You've signed him. You spent however many millions on a 1-year deal, and you may not get him at all or for a very limited amount of time. There's some risk involved in that short-term contract as well.
And Jeff says this, and look, I'm half in and half out on this as usual. Jeff says, I totally get the back and forth with Xander, but honestly, it shouldn't matter. You got his bag. You go where they tell you and play your contract. End of story. Yes, on paper, black and white, you're absolutely right, Jeff. You want players that say, wherever you need me, that's where I'll go. Xander essentially did that. But, again, to show up to spring training and be like, hey, by the way, you're our second baseman, that's jarring for anyone. It's jarring for anyone. How do you prepare this offseason? I'm going to be up the middle, so I think I'll take some ground balls, but, what do I really need to work on to come into the season being the best that I can be? At the end of the day, they are professionals, but I think letting a guy know where he's going to be playing, or where you're expecting him to play the majority, that's also being a professional organization and letting them know, you're my shortstop. Until you're not,
Yeah,
but you're my shortstop.
It's not a flaw of Xander Bogaerts that he likes some stability and knowing where he's going to play.
It's not.
In fact, it's a sign of his professionalism.
Correct.
He wants to be as fully prepared as possible. Now, are there other guys like Jake Cronenworth who are like,
whatever,
first, second, short, just throw me in, I'll be fine.
It's interesting,
but it's a personality difference. But it's not. It doesn't say less of Xander Bogaerts. In some ways, it says, no, he takes this really seriously.
Correct.
And wants to know exactly where he's playing so he can prepare and give it his all at that position.
One thing I've heard from baseball players, ad nauseum almost, just tell me. Just tell me. I saw Nick Castellanos. He just did an appearance with, I think, Chris Rose. And they were talking to him about some of the trade rumors that were involving him. And he goes, oh, what did I do? He goes, I picked up the phone. I called Dave Dombrowski. And I said, hey, any truth to this? You're trading me and Alec Boehm for Kyle Tucker? And Dave said, no, not at all. And he goes, great. And Chris Rose was marveling. He goes, I can't believe that you just called him. He goes, yeah. He goes, I've told Dave my whole career, if there's something that just pick up the phone and call me. He said, shoot me between the eyes. That's where I want you to shoot me. If you're going to shoot me between the eyes. I want to know. All these guys, just like in Moneyball, don't beat around the bush. Tell them you've been traded to the Cincinnati Reds. They just want up front. Be honest with them. They can handle the quote-unquote bad news if it is, in fact, bad news.
All right, I'm going to give you some bad news right now. You do, in fact, smell, and now I can't
You can't
stop
smell
smelling
it. Yeah.
Now it is.
Told you.
It is.
It's
That's why I didn't
permeating.
want to smell it, because now I know what it smells like, so now I catch every
Hasn't
whiff of it
come
coming
over here
over.
yet, so keep those arms down.
You're a little further away,
Stop,
but you
stop.
smell. I'm sorry, you
Stop.
do smell. I'm
So
just going to
sorry.
tell you flat out,
That
right?
stinks.
Shoot you right in the forehead.
Yep.
Yeah, you smell.
Shoot me in the
Woods.
forehead.
We got a Rhino report still coming up. First, though, we took a picture after the show yesterday, the three of us with Dave Rickers.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of people going, man, Ben, you still look great. After my SDFatLoss.com weight loss journey, I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I mean, this is real. This is a legit life changer. It was for me, and it can be for you as well. Do what I did. Make the call. Lose up to a pound of fat per day. A new you in the new year. And call before January 31st, or just go online to SDFatLoss.com. Set up your free consultation. You can get $200 off with their New Year's special. Here's what you can expect. Faster metabolism, more energy, sleeping better, less pain, so many benefits, just generally a healthier person. How do you lose the weight? You do it with real food, eating stuff from the grocery store like chicken and steak, no injections, no hormones. You don't have to buy any extra shakes or bars or mixes that your body becomes dependent on them. And unless you're ready to do these for the rest of your life, and none of us are, then you're likely just going to start gaining the weight back when the program's over. That's not why you did this. You did this to keep the weight off. I've kept the weight off for a year and a half. You can do it as well. Go to SDFatLoss.com, schedule your free consultation with their great team, and take advantage of the $200 off here in the month of January at SDFatLoss.com.
here we go. Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Bathroom, Ben, and then use some dude wipes under my arms, but I don't know that it's helping. Sorry. Won't happen again. I'd be mad at you if you stunk.
Have I ever stunk? To your knowledge?
I mean, I'm sure you have stunk.
In my life.
To my knowledge, I've never...
Good.
I'd never have thought that you stunk.
Good.
You need a haircut, I'll say that.
I'm getting one today.
Good for you. You know, you're getting bushy back there.
I definitely
Like old
am.
bush
And the
back
reason
there.
why, though, that I have let it get
Bush.
a little out of hand, I'm trying someone new today.
At Sport Clips?
Nope.
Oh.
No, I'm going
Supercuts.
to... no, not going to a chain today.
Whoa. Wait, really?
Yeah, I got a recommendation. And
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. We've given you recommendations for like
7
5
years.
years
Yeah.
now.
I know, but I decided, no, let's branch out and try something a little different. So
I am... And
I'm
you
gonna
waited till
I'm gonna go see
9:20.
Juan in Solana Beach
Okay.
today, and I got an appointment this afternoon, and I'm going to let him cut my hair. We'll see how it goes. No promises for future haircuts.
This is
but
a test for Juan.
it is.
Yeah.
It's tryout.
It's a tryout.
Yeah.
It's an open tryout to cut your hair. Have you been using your...
My Rogaine, yeah, I've been taking it. I don't know if there's a difference or not. It's supposed
I
to
think you look a little thicker.
up there.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's-
Hopefully you never noticed that it wasn't as thick before.
I didn't really.
So now you're not noticing that it's getting thicker as well. I'm fine with that. We like
Okay.
subtle changes around here.
That's true.
Same thing with my new haircut guy. Subtle changes. You can put your own spin on it, obviously, but we're looking for very subtle spin on Ben's hair.
This is a huge announcement.
Ben's hair doesn't change that much, that dramatically. I told you, the only time I ever tried changing it dramatically, I got called right into the office the first day by my news director.
I still
Yeah,
can't believe that
that's
story.
that doesn't work for me.
So how dramatic was it? Did you come in with a bowl haircut or something?
No,
What was
Mohawk. It was a lot spikier.
You spiked
looking.
it.
It was like, it was kind of
Do you have
spiky.
a picture?
I don't think I have a picture. Sorry.
What are you going to do? You get the broccoli cut. I'll give you $1,000.
But I get. I can't do the broccoli
you can do
cut.
it. You can do it.
So you watch a college basketball game on
Every one of
Aztecs
them.
last night.
Every one of them.
It is. How do they do that? How do they grow?
They
it that
shave
way?
around the sides, and then they just let their
like a
hair.
perm.
It's like a permanent.
But they can do it with the regular curly hair,
Yeah.
like Jackson Merrill, or there's the guys who have the dreads on
Yep.
top, but it still kind of works all the same way.
I know.
Like you call it like the broccoli cut.
Yeah,
I don't think they probably call it that because it seems more like a term of derision.
It is.
but-
I say it to deride them.
Right.
Yes. I was talking to your brother Sam about it. One of his kids. He goes, when he walks in the room, I'm filled with rage because when I see it, I see it. He hasn't even done anything wrong, and I'm livid at him. I go, Sam, I would be the same way. I will be the same way because your kid. That's their job is to do things to annoy you. But I'm really interested to see what you do with it.
I'm interested as well. It's
What are you going to tell him? Because you've never gone. You go to Sport Clips and you watch. Pardon the interruption, and you get your hot towel, and you're good to go.
I do.
This is going to be weird for you.
It is going to be different for me for sure. So
Are you going to go high and tight? What are you
I'm
going
going
to
to say, you see how my hair looks right now? Kind of
Just
want it
shorter?
to look like that, but shorter. But if you want to, give me a suggestion or two, I'm going to be open to discussing it at the very least.
So, what? This is a big thing because you've been Sport Clips for life. Did they give you a bad haircut the last time, and it was time to get a recommendation?
No.
Where'd you get the recommendation?
So, it was made known to me through, Tony, that
Yes.
he goes to Juan. That Juan really wanted to cut my hair. Like he said, Tony, I would love to cut Ben's hair.
I think I could do.
When I heard that, I said, okay. I mean, if you actually
because you think you're going to get a deal.
No, not that I think that I'm going to get a deal. Don't you feel like if someone requests the job, I'm not seeking him out. He sought me out as a client.
Yeah, you got your ego stroked a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
My barber's a tier 1.
Yeah.
He reached out, and I was like, I can give him a shot.
Why not?
Never going to anybody else.
So, tier 1 haircut.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what Juan does with it. Juan, go crazy.
Yeah, we need to get in touch with Juan before. When is it?
Today.
1:45 this afternoon.
God.
A couple hours.
This is
get in touch with
huge.
Juan.
This is huge. This is a big step
You'll
for
see
you.
it on TV tonight. if
You're
you
really
wanna
stepping
watch.
out.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you.
Yep.
Doing
It'll be
bits
very,
and
very
stuff
fresh.
earlier in the week and getting haircuts at salons. Now, is it a barbershop or a salon?
I think he rents a chair at a salon, but
This is huge.
but I think he's also a barber. I mean, it's a
but
it's a barber cut.
but it's at a salon.
yeah, I'm not.
This is-
It's not like a $200 cut or something.
This is your first time. How do you know?
Well, I saw what he charged when I made the Booksy reservation.
All right.
So yeah,
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
This is a big thing.
it's a little more than my Sport Clips, but it's fine.
It's worth it.
I
It's-
think
you
so,
don't
too.
skimp,
We'll see.
you
We'll
don't
see if it
skimp
is
on a
or-
haircut, man.
We'll see if it is. They all always do a good job.
Woods,
on
will
my hair.
you
That's
join
subjective.
me? I'll put up $500 if you get the Jack Harlow.
That's the broccoli cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you $500.
I just don't think it would.
$1,000, man.
He would look so ridiculous. The Jack Harlow. I mean, let's call it. It's the Jackson Merrill too. Yeah.
Again, the only direction I ever
The Jay
give
Cronenworth?
the person
Yeah.
who cuts my hair, because they always ask you the question: you want it straight or rounded in the back?
Tapered.
And I always say round anything you can. I have the most square-shaped head already.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you can do to add a little roundness to my head is appreciated.
Have you ever shaved your head? Like buzz cut?
Yeah, when I was in college,
college.
for a semester, I just kept it really low, like a number 2.
Give me the Freddie Freeman. Give me the Roger Maris. Such a goober.
Straight out of the military.
Straight out,
Yeah.
just straight, flat top.
No, they always ask rounded or squared. There is a third option. It's tapered. It looks just more natural. It's good.
They don't give me that option. Maybe I'll get that option now.
Juan, do your magic, please. I won't get in his ear.
I mean, I do get it blended.
Oh, yeah.
because I get it clippered on the sides and
Oh, yeah,
then
you do.
blend to the top. I don't want a stark contrast between the sides and the top.
I love this.
And that's what you kind of want me to get. There's a stark contrast.
This
with
is
the
my
the
favorite
broccoli
segment we've ever done because this is huge. This is like you. I mean, this is crazy. Like you've never ever even considered going to My Girl or Paulie's Guy. You never even considered it. And
My
now
guy-
Tony
my guy
makes a
offered- He would have come in
recommendation.
and done it on the air.
Yeah, we would have done it on the air. It's like you saying I'm starting to dabble with prostitutes or something. I mean, this is a huge, huge thing here. I'm blown away.
I made the appointment last week, but
can't
now
wait to
it's
see it.
time. And haircut incoming today.
I can't wait. Send me a picture when you're done.
Also incoming is our Rindle Report. Paulie's going to get us some stories we haven't gotten to so far today. I think he's taking us to the world of basketball and more. First, though, Wood's going to tell us about Underdog.
Well, speaking of the world of basketball, you can certainly get in and play some daily fantasy. If you're a California sports fan, Underdog is now available to play in our state. The best place to cash in on all your takes during the playoffs and any other sport, really, which players are going to go off, which ones are ice cold. So they've got a pick 'em game. You can win up to 1,000 times your money by choosing higher or lower on player stats, shots made, interceptions, touchdowns, all of that. It's really, really fun. Very, very simple to use as well, which was really important to me. I've used some other ones before. They were not simple at all, not in the slightest. This is super easy. If a guy like me can figure it out, you guys can as well. Create entries with football picks or mix and match across all your other favorite sports. Very, very fun. Very, very cool. Underdog, the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with the promo code WOODS. Deposit now, get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Promo code is WOODS. Must be 18 and over, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. If you're concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Just a reminder, the San Diego Food Bank is supporting the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank's ongoing relief efforts by collecting donations of non-perishable food and supplies through tomorrow. They're going to be delivered at the end of the week. You can drop off items at either of the San Diego Food Bank's warehouses in Miramar or Vista. Here's what they need up in LA. They've requested water, energy bars, Pop-Top tuna and chicken cans, raisin and other dried fruit trail mix, peanut butter crackers, cheese crackers, 100% juice boxes, individual cereal boxes, diapers, and wipes. If you want more information, you can go to SanDiegoFoodBank.org/LA-wildfires.
Yeah, and I got a DM from one of our beloved Tier 1 Summer. She works at Sushi Lounge. We go there all the time. My family does. I know you do as well, Benny. They have created the relief roll at Sushi Lounge, Encinitas, Point Loma, and Poway locations. And half of the proceeds will be donated to the World Central Kitchen. They're up in L.A. feeding the first responders, those affected. So it looks phenomenal.
Yes, spicy albacore and cucumber, topped with seared albacore, avocado, and spicy tuna poke with yuzu soy. That's right up my alley.
It is really, really good. Yeah, supporting the World Central Kitchen. So lunch today, head on out to Sushi
And I'm
Lounge.
sure there are a lot of businesses out there that are doing that as well, and appreciate everybody's efforts. Obviously, it's going to be a long and slow and painful recovery because we know we've experienced it here in San Diego as well, so we know what they're going through up in Los Angeles. All right, final segment of the day. That means it is time for the Rindle Report. We'll get to that right after our last check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Guys, that crash has cleared on northbound at 5 before the 54. It's all over the right shoulder now, so speeds are getting back to normal there. Westbound King Freeway just before 30th Street. We have reports of a stalled vehicle over to the right shoulder. Also, northbound side of the 805 right before Balboa, getting reports of a possible brush fire over to the right shoulder. In North County, eastbound 78 past Nordall Road. Collision involving a couple vehicles. That's over to the right shoulder. Stop by either of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All
Good
right.
morning, my friends.
Good morning.
I'm going to start off on a rough note here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's not a good story. I apologize.
Love a rough note.
You know, it's an update to a story we talked about last week. Woods, you actually mentioned, you said, does this make me a monster? When somebody passes away, especially when it's unexpected, young. You know, first thing is, well, what happened?
Well, what happened?
It's not our business,
Right.
but everyone thinks it. Well, we were talking about former MLB pitcher Brian Mattis. Mattis.
You have a buddy that with the same last name.
And he pronounces it differently.
Mattis.
Yeah.
Same exact name, spelling. Yeah. So Brian Mattis passed away last week. It was announced, and we were, what happened? Well, we found out what happened, and it's very awful.
Sad.
It's so sad. He died from an apparent overdose, and he was found at his home in Phoenix with drug paraphernalia, white substance.
Oh, it was awful.
The worst part for me, I mean, obviously, it's the whole story is awful. And I was reading, it says, this is from TMZ, says, we're told it was his mother who discovered him after she had grown concerned about him due to comments he made about feeling like he had nothing left to live for.
Gutted me, man. 37 years old, had a nice big league career, and you see mental illness, mental health challenges rear their ugly head to a guy like that. right? And so just another reminder, take care of yourself. If you're feeling that way, it's not true. It's the disease telling you that. And I guess he had struggled with some substance issues before and had gotten sober, and then obviously was not sober at the end. But it's the depression, it's the mental health struggles that so many people out there go through. And it just gutted me to read that yesterday. And I think about my own kids and think about my own parents, what they went through with me, and it's just, please take care of yourself. There is help available. Find it, seek it out, DM me. I can steer you in the right direction. But I just can't recommend it enough. I just can't.
Nobody is immune to
Nobody.
depression.
I mean, my God, it does not discriminate.
It doesn't matter what you do. But I was thinking about it when I saw this, the update to this story yesterday, and I go, God, how often does this happen with athletes in particular? You retire, you get cut, you're out of a job, whatever, whether it's on your terms or not, you get an injury.
And it's rarely on their terms, rarely.
Yeah, not everybody's
Jeter.
Peyton Manning,
yeah,
Tom
exactly.
Brady, 40 years
the big
old.
farewell tour
Right.
and several championships.
You just go, man, 37 years old, that means 30 years of his life.
Yeah.
All he knows is baseball.
That's it.
And it doesn't matter what sport. And I just go, God, this probably happens so often that athletes in particular, but again, depression, it has no biases. It's it can come after anybody. But that was just, you asked what happened, we found out what happened.
Yeah,
It's
broke my heart.
There's some athletes who their career ends and they're like, okay, can't wait to reinvent myself
right.
and take another path. But, it's not easy. I mean, if someone had told me 10 years ago, all right, you're done with radio and TV, they've tapped you on the shoulder. It's time. And it's like, now what do I do? How would I have embraced that? I don't know. I didn't have to face that, fortunately, but I certainly have empathy for someone who has put so much work into something and then is told, now you can't do that anymore.
Yep.
And you got to figure something else out.
Yeah, it broke my heart reading that yesterday.
All right, we'll move on. I apologize. This story is
another one.
Nobody died,
Oh, okay,
but
good.
it's still not a great story. It probably could have been a don't do this if we had more time earlier. So, Victor Wembanyama, one of the premier players in the NBA, he likes to do jersey swaps, as do a lot of NBA players. You see it in football, soccer as well. The jersey swap.
Sure.
It's a good bit.
I like that. I like it too.
So last month, Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs were playing the Brooklyn Nets, and he was walking off the court and he saw a young child. I mean, this kid, I saw the picture, he couldn't be more than 5 years old, and he was holding a sign that said, "Victor, will you do a jersey swap with me?" And of course, Victor Wembanyama, the sweetheart that he is, takes the jersey off his back, gives it to the kid. The jersey is twice as tall as the kid is.
You'd have to be a monster.
And the kid
not
was
to.
wearing a kid-sized Victor Wembanyama
and
jersey
then,
as well.
So then Wemby's holding this little size, 7T or whatever, this little tiny jersey. And you're like, okay, that's a cool moment. How sweet for that kid. It's great. And I'm sure he's given his jersey to other players, to other fans, etc. The story gets pretty rough, though, because it was pointed out, I think yesterday or earlier this week, that jersey has been listed on Golden Auctions for $10,000.
Oh, my God. Actual game-worn Victor Wembanyama jersey.
The jersey.
$10,000.
Are we assuming that it wasn't the kid who immediately went to his Golden Auctions account and put it up?
Immediately.
It was
You see
probably
the picture. The kid, I don't know that he even talks yet.
Yeah.
He's so small.
So little.
He's just a little guy. Yeah, it has been. The auction begins next Wednesday, and the starting bid is $10,000. And I'm on the Golden Auctions website right now, and they're talking about how much of a superstar Wemby is and gonna be, and this is, Jordan and Kobe. They're not playing anymore, but this is your chance to get a Victor Wembanyama game-used jersey, and it even talks about the jersey swap. It does not say anything in here about
who posted it.
We know. I mean, it's the kid's family.
Yeah,
the dad.
The dad.
I would assume. That's my assumption, at least. Yeah, I saw somebody goes, at this point, NBA fans are at least just hoping that all the profits will go towards the kid's college fund or something like that. and others just see it as a complete exploitation.
Sure. You see it. I've seen it at Petco Park. I've seen it at other ballparks, too. I've seen dads sending their kids, really being forceful about, get me this, get me that. Dad, sports dads.
Let me point something out. Let's say you would like to buy a game-worn jersey, okay, of a favorite athlete. Where did that jersey come from originally?
From the athlete.
Probably.
Yeah.
They gave it to someone. It could have been a kid. It probably was a kid.
They could have just given it to the team to sell,
I guess.
They have that little thing at Petco Park, that little stand that has this is Jake Cronenworth's shoe and stuff. Yeah.
But, we're essentially saying, we wouldn't approve of athletes selling their own jerseys after every game. That doesn't seem right either. So unless they give it to someone, there wouldn't be any game-worn jerseys out there necessarily.
I think that would make me legit sick to my stomach. Like, Manny, all right, wore this tonight, got 3 knocks. Who wants it? 2,500. Bro, come on.
They certainly could.
They
I don't think there's
could.
anything stopping them. I guarantee you there'd be a fresh jersey the next day
sitting in
their
their
locker to do it again. No one's going to stop them if they wanted to, but they get a better feel for it. So, they give them away. Not every day, but they give them away. And then some of them eventually end up, obviously, on the resale market, at memorabilia shops, online, on auctions. They all come from the same place.
Andros says this is why we shouldn't just give stuff to kids. Just give it to whoever really wants it. Kids have the rest of their lives to get memorabilia. That is a take, my friend. That is a real take.
It's wild how simply posting that up at auction, it turns such a feel-good, fun, cute story into
a great picture.
You feel disgusting now.
Now, again, what? We say this, now tomorrow it'll be like, well, it turns out the kid has cancer, and the dad, just like the Philly story.
Well,
you just never know.
I guess I would say that would be a good thing to put in this 8-paragraph description.
Yeah, fair enough.
Adam Paul says Tony Gwynn Jr. has said that the jerseys are the property of the team. Well, does that mean when they hand their jersey over to even another player that they get a bill from the team? I'm doubting that those like Wemby, when he does a jersey swap, gets a bill from the Spurs for the cost of his jersey to be replaced the next day.
I'd like to do a jersey swap with someone at fantasy camp. I've never done one. I'd like to do it. It's fantasy camp. You get to live out your fantasy.
You and Paul can
if we're on
swap
different
jerseys.
teams.
If we're on different teams, yes, 100%. I like that.
That's a good move.
Well, you're not a memorabilia guy. I'm not a game worn memorabilia guy, but when I was a kid, you elbowing grown men out of the way for autographs when I was a little kid was kind of annoying.
Before your jersey swap, Paulie, with Woodsy, you'll definitely want to make sure he's
showered and
he's figured out his deodorant situation.
Send that to the laundry
Is it getting
first.
worse?
No,
I wiped it down.
Okay. You wiped it down. It's okay.
Before we move on, you said there was an update to that story. Wemby,
So just 20 minutes ago, Wemby
I didn't see
retweeted the story like this. Hey, this is now on auction, and he just had the deeply crying
he's
emoji.
sad about
he's sad. Of course, he would be sad.
Yeah, it's a
Wemby
bummer.
seems like a thoughtful, sensitive French guy.
Dude, sports collecting and everything, it's a very lucrative business. I get it. I have a few things that I personally love, but it's kind of gross. I think it's weird when I see guys, adults, full-grown men with a binder full. One autograph's not good enough. Can you sign
17.
all 12 of these baseball cards?
Yeah.
It's weird. I love it when athletes will go. I've heard athletes say on the subject, if a kid asks me for an autograph, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Done. If an adult asks me for an autograph, I ask them what their name is.
Ooh.
Personalize it.
And then they personalize it for him.
Good luck selling that one. Unless you can find a guy named Woods. All right.
Limits your market.
We'll move on. Feel-good story, finally. Not feel-good story, but a positive story here. Locally in San Diego, Comic-Con not going anywheres. There has been a lot of debate over the last couple of years with Comic-Con and their future here in San Diego. Obviously, so many businesses in San Diego, especially downtown in the Gaslamp, they depend on Comic-Con. They can plan their whole annual budget based on how they do that week.
Sure.
And it was up in the air on if Comic-Con was going to be sticking around. The organization, I don't believe they were very happy with how things have gone with hotel prices and all that. doesn't matter anymore because they were on a 1-year extension to try to get this all figured out. And now it was announced yesterday that Comic-Con will be sticking around at least through 2027. So
okay, 2 more. So
25, 26, and 27.
An extra year.
It's it's like the Super Bowl when your event gets big enough, and cities have to start bidding, and for the we want your event to come here. Here's what we can offer you: this, and this. Well, you start to throw your weight around a little bit, and Comic-Con has gotten so big that it can throw its weight around a little bit and try to get some concessions from San Diego, from the hotels that are in the area. I know you like the business, but we don't like it when you double charge our Comic-Con attendees for their hotel prices. So what are you going to do about it? Because if you don't do something, well, Fresno is looking really good for Comic-Con in the middle of summer.
Des Moines is incredible. It's got they built a new convention center in Des Moines. And, you think about it. Of course, we live here, and we're obviously very biased. But if you had to go to Comic-Con every year, you wouldn't want it moved from San Diego. You just wouldn't. You're like, oh, great. I got to go to Seattle or Portland, whatever, Nashville. Like, forget it, man.
So I know, I don't know enough about Comic-Con. I know they have, New York has a big one as well. I've always been kind of told San Diego, though, that's the
one.
Does LA have a Comic-Con?
I don't know. I'm sure they do.
Because it's kind of strange to me that it's stuck around in San Diego for this long.
Yeah.
Because they're all LA studios.
Yep.
LA celebrities. They all come down for the week, but it's kind of remarkable that it hasn't just
this is the
been
one
up there forever.
Yeah, Guz says, they do have one there. It's the same company.
Okay.
They do have one up in LA as well, but this is the one. This is the Mecca where everyone wants to come.
It's almost as though people, when deciding between Los Angeles and San Diego, actually sometimes prefer San Diego for various reasons. Where you could choose Los Angeles, they have just about everything that San Diego has, but when you weigh all the different factors at play, and you look and you're trying to decide where to put a Comic-Con or a baseball player for the next 6 years, that San Diego is a pretty good choice.
I agree.
Said person.
I agree.
Brandon says maybe Roki likes comics.
Maybe.
That's a good selling point. Hey, you got Comic-Con for at least a couple
We
more
really
years.
don't know. He may be, there's Japanese anime, that's a big part. Maybe he loves it and saw San Diego Comic-Con, and that's one of the reasons he's interested in coming here.
To come across the table. I'm going to kill you with my bare hands.
Actually, Roki, we're on the road that week.
I'm going to murder you with my bare hands.
He's a pitcher. He doesn't need to be around for every game when he's not pitching. If he wants to go to Comic-Con, go to Comic-Con, Roki.
Do you think that it gets figured out today?
No. It was, if I'm not mistaken, Joel Wolf said, anticipate more toward the end of the window than the beginning. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, but he also said he wants a really small market, and he's being flirted with by LA, and that's not a small market. So
he said that was one of the potential factors.
Okay.
But I think he said directly it's probably more toward the end of the
I wonder if he's still there in the complex or in the offices, because that's what you do. You keep him there until he says, fine.
I don't think so.
What do you think he's doing?
I think he's probably...
You said yesterday he's writing down his pros and cons
probably
list.
Meeting with his agents at the agent's office. And
all right, let's go. Pros, cons, Comic-Con. I wish that we could just get it over with. Shoot me between the eyes, okay? Shoot me between the eyes. Rip it off. One way or the other.
My guess is you're going to have to start slowly peeling the Band-Aid for another couple days.
If it's San Diego, I don't care when. It can be Thursday.
That's true.
It can be any time.
Take your time,
weekend.
buddy.
If it's the Dodgers.
Just get it.
I want it Friday at 10:05 would be great.
Yes.
Give us... No, we're not on the air until Tuesday. We're
See
off
you guys
on Monday.
Tuesday. Adam's going to make us do a video, a reaction video, if it happens right when we're off.
You can do it from the Dateland.
Yes, the
rest
Dateland
stop on the way to
maybe
Fantasy
Cafe
Camp.
Adesso. That's where we'll.
Yeah, there you go. If it's early, you can do it at Cafe Adesso. If it's later, you can do it from Dateland. All right, Annie and Elston are coming up next. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Wednesday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.